someone said something, and then as they were saying it, realized, oops, this is a thing I should not be saying.
Uh-oh.
But then it came out anyways, and then, like, in the same breath was already apologizing.
Yeah, I've had moments like that. Where it's just like, you're trying to stop it, but the words are already mid-tumbling out.
The sentence is already processed, and the output is not being stopped. Basically, they abbreviated Whoppers.
Oh, yeah, don't do that. Don't do that.
It's like, oh no.
No,
oh, no. Oh.
That's a bad idea.
I'll get it someday.
It's a term, John.
Yeah.
Yeah. One you shouldn't say. Take the first half of that word.
Oh, you said wait, I guess abbreviation. That is what abbreviation mean, isn't it? I think I was thinking of like acronyms or something.
No. Well, you can't really do W. Oh my god.
I was like, oh, W? What? Okay, I get it now.
Again, he was just talking about how much he loved Burger King, and things just took a turn.
Yeah, sometimes they do that. Sometimes the words that want to rush
real
out.
Careful when live streaming.
Oh yeah. You want to have one of those heated gamer moments.
I was just about to say that fucking term is the worst.
I mean, who doesn't turn into a gigantic racist when they're mad at a video game? It happens to everybody, right? Can't be the only one.
Retweet.
Oh, we've got a Jetstorm in the chat. What's this about video game racism? Oh, you won't find any of that here on the Sockscast, child. You're safe. There's probably not a whole lot of racism on this podcast. Probably, unless Rhett's wants to do his Japanese girl impression for us again. And
never again.
That was pretty egregious.
Sing Pretty Fly for a white guy.
That was one of our more egregious things I've ever heard you do.
Again, the words were coming out wrong, and you realized that in the process.
Tom says good. Tom is glad to know that this Sockscast won't contain racism.
Thanks for the sub, Red.
Tom is, for once...
Speaking of things that never come out wrong, farts.
Always funny.
Yeah, they never come out wrong. It doesn't matter the situation you're in. And it's just air. It's going to come out of your butt. Like, it's got a smooth track on out.
Sometimes.
I think they can come out wrong sometimes. You know, like, sometimes you sneeze and then you really fuck it up.
Have you ever sneezed and farted at the same time?
It
literally feels like you're being ripped apart.
Yeah.
It's the worst feeling imaginable.
Alright, that's bad.
Usually, it's like, you know the sneeze is coming in, and you're sneezing, and oops! Oh, that felt awful.
Yeah, they both come out, and it's just literally being torn apart by horses.
So John has the gun that says hot takes on it.
Yeah.
That was just selected arbitrarily this week, I think.
Yeah. It's just kind of like I had that one planned for 2 weeks straight to use, but then at the last minute, Sayara always kind of came up with something. So now this one is finally getting
also
used.
Still came up with one for the Nirvana one.
Yeah.
This one takes precedent because it's older. Otherwise, it's just never going to get used.
Yeah. Eventually, I had to get used. This one's been around. This one's been kicking around for almost 2 months.
It's very good.
I think. Yeah, I like it. There's a Danganronpa inspired one I have too. That will be used next episode, more than likely.
Yeah, excellent. I had so much trails this weekend. It was so nice.
It's like y'all, man, that'll be an interesting thing to talk about. An interesting comparison to draw, I think.
Well, I plan to go in great detail about it.
Good.
No.
It's like no holds barred. Just
No.
talk endlessly about Trails 3.
Might as well just name it a spoiler cast at this point.
Oh
Yep.
no.
All Sockscasters mandatory presence.
You just have to have played them by this point. We've talked about them long enough. Well, given that it's Memorial Day, I'm a thinking turnout's probably going to be a little low today.
That's true.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and welcome everybody to Sockscast episode 95. We're inching closer and closer to three digits and like an 8-hour podcast. It'll be great. And remember, Sockscast is brought to you as always by Moon Pies. Moon Pies, the frothing demand for this snack continues.
What does IGN give Moon Pies?
10 out of 10, motherfucker.
Really? Okay. Are they perfect?
I think so.
Okay.
Brett, they're obviously perfect.
Come on.
They're moon pies.
Go on. Yeah, I knew somebody would get what I was referencing there. Wasn't a reference. There you go. There you go.
Hi, Zach.
see,
Hey, Eleanor.
I was playing off Polly's reference. I know what she was talking about.
Okay. Wasn't sure.
I got it too.
Sure. All right. Well, look at that.
Good jokes.
Got a whole bunch of smart people here.
I think every time we make a reference, we should kind of do like a round call, and everyone can be like,
Yeah.
"Yes,
All
I
right.
did get that."
Who got it? Who got it? All right.
Oh, and then I'll just be like, "Well, that time I did not get it." Can you explain
Minus
this to me?
5 cool points.
I'll
So-
note that on the board, and now you can explain it to me. So in the future, I'll get the reference.
Yeah. And you can do that fake laugh you do.
All my laughs are genuine.
Of course they are.
Well,
To my immediate virtual right, he's still waiting here, my dear, to kill all of you. It's Rhett.
Hi.
Hey,
I get
Rhett.
that reference.
Okay, so I was gonna say Faith No More, but I guess it's Coheed then.
That's Cody.
That is.
I was
Cody.
like, it's one of them, and then John shouted that. I'm like, okay, I know which one it is now.
Okay, so I get it and Rhett's gets it. We're doing great.
Look at
Tom
this.
gets it.
We're on fucking point. We've got synergy in this goddamn podcast for once.
We're maintaining that S rank so far.
God damn, we're on a roll. Rhett, how you doing?
Good.
Weekend treat you well? You enjoying the long weekend?
Oh yeah, just
Oh yeah.
vegging out,
Yeah.
playing one game and nothing else.
Literally nothing else. That's a good way to spend. I kind of did the same thing, but you know, we'll go over it.
It was 5 o'clock, and I'm just like, yeah, I'll stop at 5:30. Once I get back to my ship, I'll stop. And then you could do that, and you keep going, and it's like, oh, it's 5:30 now. I should probably stop.
I was very much like that when The Binding of Isaac Rebirth came out.
Oh
when
my
it first
God,
came
yeah.
out. Yeah, I was just like down to the wire every time we had to do an episode for like probably 3 months.
Just one more run.
Stop.
Just beat this boss, get to the next floor, and then I'll stop.
Yeah, then I can auto save and just pop back out and it'll be fine. Yeah, like it was like that for a good long while. To my immediate virtual left. So come on, bitch, why aren't you laughing now? It's John Thayer.
Hi.
How's it going?
I'm doing well. I have my tea and my robe, my coconut oil. I'm ready for a podcast.
Mr. Bougie over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, just living it up. Don't y'all got tornadoes out that way? I saw that on Twitter. Somebody I know lives in the general area. I'm like, okay, is this going to be another thing? Are we going to have to cancel? Because I saw somebody talking about having tornado warnings all over the place over there.
I think it's some light thunderstorms. I did get a surge protector, and also I've never had the power go out in this place, so I kind of feel like it's probably fine.
You're probably invincible. Mother Nature got no fucking shit on you.
What's the worst that could happen?
Exactly. It's just nature. It's just leaves and air and shit. Like, what the
I
fuck?
mean-
It's some water from the sky. Whoop-de-fucking-do. I get that from my goddamn tap. Come on now.
Brainiac says, don't jinx it, John. Jeez. May God strike me down if I'm not completely invincible.
I'm just imagining hearing all of a sudden static coming through, and then John has disconnected.
And then we just do the podcast without him because it's
Yeah.
funnier that way.
Yeah. That's the only way that I would have it.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm pretty
It's in my
pretty
will.
sure, pretty sure John lives in the Shinra building anyway, so he's probably invincible in there.
Yep.
Yeah. He's good.
What's the worst that can happen to people in the Shinra building?
Yeah, like no.
Well, actually, when you think about it, it is the people below the Shinra building that had something to worry about.
Yeah, they got pooped on. They got pooped on pretty bad.
Yeah,
like not
people
literal
below.
Spoilers. I see everyone like, hey, maybe it's time to stop talking about Final Fantasy VII.
Oh
spoilers.
my god. Yeah, I've been seeing that lately. It's like people. Literally everybody fucking knows Eris dies at this point.
I bet she. I really wonder if they're going to do it in the remake.
Gonna do what?
Like change it up so she doesn't actually die.
I goddamn guarantee you there will be a way to bring her back to life in the goddamn remake. And that makes me so mad. I know they're gonna do it because that's all people have bitched about for the last 20 fucking years is, oh my god, I can't get Eris back. I wasted so long getting her limit. No, you didn't, motherfucker, because it doesn't take that long.
Back in my day.
Talking about all the work they put into Eris. Like, yeah, I bet you fucking did.
I mean, I was sad because I did use her, but...
I was sad because I liked her. Because she was sweet. We went on a date. It was nice.
Huh. Tifa's better.
Back in my day, we were using Game Shark to bring Leo back to life.
There you go. They'll kill Tifa this time around.
I swear to God, I see people say that unironically.
I could see him doing it. They're gonna do some. They're gonna pull a swerve somewhere.
I really think they are going to
rebuild the Final Fantasy VII.
Oh God.
Oh no.
Will be coming out for the next 20 years.
Good.
Well, that
tracks so far.
Yeah, which comes out first, Ava 4 or whatever 3+1 they're calling it?
Have we reached 10 years for rebuild of Ava yet?
I'm pretty sure we have.
I think we are at least for the first movie. I am almost sure we are 10 years in now.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Somehow rebuild is going to last longer than that manga that took like 14 years.
Oh my god. The Shinji Ikari Raising Project.
No, like the Ava adaptation.
Oh yeah,
manga.
the actual Ava adaptation where the author kept getting sick.
It took like 10 years to do the last couple chapters or something. I don't know. And then change the ending.
Would you try to summarize episode 25 and 26, motherfucker? Let's see how long it takes you. Yeah, you don't have 26 years to spare at this point. We're all dead in 10 anyway.
Oh boy.
Whoops, spoilers.
I get it.
John Thayer.
Yeah.
What you been up to?
Oh wait. If John mentions the thing, then I should go first.
I've got a quick thing I think we're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
I've been doing a bunch of action games.
Action games are good. I like those.
I really like them. I briefly mentioned at the start of the last. I kind of started my binge right before the last Sockscast when I 1cc'd Touhou 16 in like 2 sittings. And then I tried to dip into something a little bit meatier, and I tried Judgment Silver Sword and Choren Shah, and they were too meaty.
Yeah, Judgment Silver Sword, from everything I've seen of that game, looks a little too rich for my blood.
It is extra rare, 2-3 pound steak.
Yeah.
A little too much for me. There's an easy mode that was a lot easier to handle. But still, I kind of was like,
But who plays games on baby easy mode, right?
Exactly.
Not real gamers!
I started and I was just like, this is fine, but it's not the same. And then I was like, okay, so all these games are really, really hard. They're all riffing on like cave arcade shmups, which are also really, really hard. Are there shmups that aren't really, really, really hard? And I thought about console shmups. Which used to be impossibly hard, but now that I've been bashing my head against like Dojin shmups that riff on arcade games and actual arcade games, like a good Super Nintendo shmup is like, oh yeah, I can do this.
Hey, this is a nice treat.
This is comparatively very gentle.
So can I get a quick consensus around the table on something?
Go for it.
Cave shooters. Thoughts?
Never played them.
I like them.
There's something about their style of game that I don't like. I can't really put a finger on it, really.
What's the little girl side scroller one, Death Smiles.
Death Smiles.
Yeah.
Is that them?
Yes.
Yeah, that's Cave.
Okay, kind of don't like them then.
Like, there's just something about, like, and I can't tell, maybe it's just, I don't know, their approach to the way bullets are handled or player movement or whatever, but I generally find that I'm not having a lot of fun when I'm playing a Cave shmup or trying to interact with the various 800,000 crazy systems they have for scoring and shit like that. Like, I don't know, Cave just kind of doesn't do it for me. But I like a lot of things that are influenced by Cave, such as like Crimson Clover, for instance, and games like that. And Reflex.
I thought you were going to say Touhou.
I don't think Touhou's really inspired that much by Cave, though.
Really?
Touhou kind of has a completely different pace from.
God, it really does.
Because Cave shmups are super fast, and the bullet spreads are fast as fuck. Whereas with Touhou, it's more just like bullet density, but the bullets are moving really slow most of the time.
I play him and I'm like, yeah, this is nice. Like I played a bunch of Dodonpachi. That's probably the one I sunk the most time into.
Yeah, that's the one I've played the most, and probably the one I like the most. Even though it's still like Dodonpachi probably wouldn't make it into my top 10 shmup list.
Yeah, because it's just like, okay, I like the pace here. It's weird that shmups kind of got less accessible as they went along instead of getting more accessible like almost every other genre, because they kept catering more and more towards
the hardcore
people who are really good at shmups.
But those are the people that are buying, so it's a genre where I felt that it made sense to go that direction.
Yeah, it makes sense, but then that's the thing, playing like Cave shmups specifically. It's like you play a game like a 10 or 15 years older game, and it's easier and kinder and much easier to get a handle on, like Rayforce or Gradius or R-Type, and that's very funny to me. It's just like, oh, okay, I will go backwards to make it easier to digest.
Yeah,
I think the problem with focusing on the hardcore like that is like over time that group shrinks and then you're not making money anymore.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so Cave is like my end game of. I really like Ketsui's aesthetic and soundtrack. That's the only one where like, oh, I love the music to this. Like that's so big for me in shmups. So that's the one that I'm like, oh yeah, I want to try that at some point. But it's also very hard. So
yeah, Ketsui's fucking merciless.
Yeah, 10 years from now, if you see that's the thing, because now I realize, oh, I'm actually pretty good at console shmups now. Like Axelay, that's what I played a bunch of. And I played it for like 5 days, and I 1 credit cleared it, and it felt really good. So it was harder than the Touhou 16 one was, which felt so breezy it didn't really register.
Basically, yeah.
But not as hard as like Judgment Silver Sword or Chorensha or an arcade game where I was just like, oh, this is a brick wall that I am bashing my head against, and after about 2 weeks I'm gonna quit, and it's gonna feel bad. So it was like a 5 or 6 solid, nice day little journey.
And Axelay is fan-fucking-tastic.
Yeah, it's real good.
Is that the first time you actually said the name of the game?
Yeah.
I was like, John is really building up what the name of this SNES game is, and then Paulie just drops it.
Yeah,
because we all knew.
I didn't mean to be building it up. We were just going on the Cave tangent.
Yeah.
So like, God, the game's real good, huh?
It's really good.
Yeah, the overhead stages are really good. The overhead stages have that drama. I think that's the one where I kept thinking of like Star Fox, especially like level 5.
Oh, absolutely.
Which just is straight that same level from Star Fox 64.
Yeah, it's literally the fire level from Star Fox.
Yep. The music's so good.
Oh, God,
yeah, but this would have come out before Star Fox 64, really.
So I'm pretty sure
this exactly.
This informed Star Fox 64. I'm more than 100% certain.
Yep. That was, oh man. And then the last level's real good. It's like twice as long as the others.
It's got that whole outer space section, which uses, the up-tempo version of the intro music, which, very good.
Yeah, I noticed that.
And then there's the whole Gradius space interior part. That's very hard.
Oh, God. Yeah.
It's like, okay, we're in the shmup now. We've built up enough.
Yeah, like, we earned the right to be this butt-fuckingly difficult.
So I was just like, and this time, as a kid, I finished the game and I did it with continues. So I guess I beat this last level with just 3 lives. And that's like, that seems much harder there, Younger John. But Younger John also beat Subterranean Animism that way. And I'm just like, why? Why'd you do that? Because it was just me like hammering on the final boss for like 4 hours.
Oh man, I always feel so bad when I like have to do that, and it's just like I would rather quit. I just want a 1cc shmups. It's kind of my like. I don't play shmups with continues. Honestly, I just can't because it doesn't feel right to me.
Yeah, you kind of opened my mind there a while back.
Mountain and Faith and Subterranean Animism were particularly brutal if you continue as well.
Yes.
Yeah, like
you just restart the level.
I thought Mountain of Faith was really hard because I kept restarting on the final boss instead of just playing the game again. And if you just do that, then you get there with 4 lives and it's easy.
Yeah.
You only have 2.
I winced a bit there when you mentioned Younger John playing Subterranean Animism. I'm like, well, how old is Younger John again? I was thinking like 10 years old. I'm like...
I was in like middle or high school. I was in high school, I think. So that's
because for me, it's like, oh, Younger Rhett played Life Force, my very first shmup. I was like 8, you know. This was Axley was much younger than when I got into Touhou. Like I played that. That was like one of the first shmups I ever finished. That's what I was expecting.
Yeah, but then so it was nice to finally return to that, and especially because it's very good. The way they handle power-ups and health is really clever and good.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really neat system that I don't think we've seen in like anything else. The way you get new weapons. Yeah.
Einhander, maybe? I think Einhander's system is similar.
Yeah.
That's one of the ones I have like in my quiver. Like I've never touched this, but I know I'm gonna like it. It's a sword. It's a PS1 shmup. Those always kind of are pretty.
Yeah,
I like the soundtrack.
Good.
I was way bit bad at it. I remember.
Yeah, it's a game you've got to dedicate a little time to kind of learning its various ins and outs because it is one of those systems based shmups where it's definitely got some systems going on, but yeah, it's a real good game though.
Cool.
See, Younger Rhett, real bad at shmups.
Like them a whole lot.
Airzonk, easy mode. Axelay, easy mode. Einhander, fuck this shit too hard.
Hey, Rhett, I think everyone's bad at shmups at first. I'm realizing that. I was like...
I mean, it's a hard genre, yeah.
Yeah, why do I suck so much at this? Why do I suck so much at this? And I kept doing that, and now I'm like, oh, Axelay's easy now. Okay. Not easy. It still took like a week, but that felt good. It felt cool. I died, like... I kept dying, like... When I started the 1cc attempts, finally, after doing like some save state drilling, I died on stage 4, and then I ran out of lives on stage 5. And then I ran out of lives at stage 6, and then during the stage 6 final boss. So it's just that completely linear upward trend of progress that's very encouraging. It's like, okay, yeah, every single time I'm getting better at this.
Yeah, like, and games that make you feel like that are pretty great. That said, don't ever spend 1 month trying to beat Gradius 3 Arcade. By the end of that, I just hated it. By the end of that, I was hate fucking that game. By the end, that's really all that was. It's like, I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I spent a month through one fucking credit clear, Gradius 3. But at the same time, I did not have the sense of elation one might think once it was over.
Yeah, it's like, oh.
But
did
now
you return?
You can do the SNES one with no slowdown.
Oh god, the game's not designed for that.
Oh, I want to see the speed stage on that. Has anybody done that yet?
God, that would be stupid.
That game lags so much, even the fast stage slows down, I'm pretty sure.
I think I saw somebody on my Twitch followers. I think they were streaming that shit for like 7 hours and finally beat it.
That video of the bubble stage was so weird, just seeing it not chugga.
Yeah, to see it play at full speed is a
that
weird
stage is
thing.
like so obscene in how slow it is.
Yeah. Kind of has to be though. It's like that fucking crystal stage in Gradius 2 on the NES. It's pretty bad.
Like the Moai stage, I could see slow down because there's lots of bullets coming at you, but that bubble stage is just SNES can't handle this apparently.
Yeah. It's
lots of sprites.
Big ones, small ones, more small ones.
Oh, there's some thunder. Yeah, Gradius 3, I think SNES is the one I would want to try over the arcade one.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, Gradius 3 1cc on SNES is way more feasible, and you don't.
That just sounds like a nice, healthy little journey.
You don't
I
have
did sample.
You don't have the jank ass 3D stages either in the SNES version.
Oh god, someone linked a video of those recently.
Oh, they're so bad.
What is this?
They're jank ass sort of.
There's 3D stages in the arcade one?
Yeah, there are 3D stages.
I've never heard of this.
Oh,
Google it. It's so much.
Oh my god.
They're terrible. They're
3D, kind of.
Yeah, in that same way that Outrun is 3D. They're using scalar technology.
I think comparing it to Outrun is very, very generous to Gradius 3.
Yeah, it is. The 3D is not very good, and I think I even read that, like, they did... Like, the story of Gradius 3 is great because, like, that game kind of sounds like it was slapped together in about 6 months, and all of the stages were created out of order, and the people that created the stages play-tested them once, and then they just threw them all into the game, and that was it.
Yeah, there was not a play-test it all at once together
stage. It was literally just, throw all your shit in, are you done? All right, put it in.
Yep.
Oh my god, I can't believe I've never seen this before. It looks like... There's that one Sega game that kind of similar to this.
Panorama Cotton?
No,
because that's
yes,
also
but
very
there's
generous.
There's another spaceship one.
Okay.
Wow, this looks bad.
Yeah, because there are like 3 of those. There are 3 of those over the course of a 1cc of Gradius 3 arcade. They're bad. They're so bad.
I'm watching what is stage 4 apparently. It's just like 2 sprites infinitely repeating.
Yep. It's not a good impression. It's not a good thing to run into. Because before I started playing around seriously with Gradius 3 Arcade, I didn't know those existed, and then it happens, and I'm like, what?
Wow.
What?
Uh-oh. Yeah. So that was a shmup journey that I went on that made me very happy. I think my sort of golden 3 that I feel like I really want to do the 1cc with are R-Type, Ikaruga, Rayforce, because those are the ones that I've sunk a lot of time into. I know them pretty well. Mm-hmm. I just haven't quite sealed the deal.
R-Type is real good. R-Type is real good start to finish, I think. I don't really think
absolutely.
Yeah, so like that would be a really good project, I think.
Oh, I got real close too. I tried for a while. I know that game pretty much start to back. I just haven't pulled it together into the single run.
Do you know there's an R-Type Final 2 coming out?
I did hear about that, yes.
It's like, how are you doing that? There was already a final.
It said final in the name, yes.
Yeah, it's an R-Type Final 2. It's like, man, I 100%ed the first game twice.
Yeah, I love R-Type, so that'll be a nice thing. Like that inspired Kikai a lot. I'll be kind of transparently near the end.
Oh yeah, right. Did you play Neptunia Shooter yet? Poncho Smith mentioned that in the chat.
I did play it. I died on stage 3 boss, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was funny seeing like 5 people on our friends list buy that game, and like only me and Poncho actually play it.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I'll get back to it. I will check it out.
Poncho's ragging on.
It sounds like people are real mad that it doesn't have continues or lives or anything.
It's also like 8 minutes long, dog.
Yeah, it's like a $3 game or something.
It's $5 normally, and they priced it at $4 to start.
And it seems decently made for what it is. I mean, it's just a silly little NEP game that likely spawned from their dumb April Fool's joke.
Yeah, like a month and a half ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember when they did that April Fool's joke, I was like, oh, I should take those sprites and make a quick game with it. Apparently they had the same idea.
I think that's nice.
But that's what I've been saying they should do with that series for a while, though, is just do dumb mini games like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think it would be cool if there was a NEP game, like in one of the RPGs, that just had like 5 of those, like, riffs on older games using NEP sprites as part of the, just to mix the game up a bit.
Yeah, like, it would be really fun to have those diversions.
Because it's just like
game challenge, but with NEP characters.
I've thought about that too. Yeah.
Half minute hero is like the perfect venue for them to make like a very quick 2D RPG that they tend to have in those credit sequences too. Half minute hero is great. They could do that with NEP very easily.
See, here's my game idea, and Polly will begrudgingly agree with me on this. So there's Retro Game Challenge, where you play all these old games and you have to or fake old games.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
There's literally an anime already kind of in that same vein called Sega Hard Girls.
Yeah.
Just make a Sega Hard Girls game where you play through actual Sega games.
I could see it.
Like, they put that shit in Shenmue, or not Shenmue. Shenmue, yes, but also Yakuza.
Yeah.
Like, they put, like, 4 old games in Yakuza 2. Is like, oh, this is great. I can play Space Harrier, and they put, like, Virtual Fighter 2 and Virtual On in there.
Yeah, that's
in the
fucking
newest
nuts.
one. Like, so it's like, just do a Sega Hard Girls game, and, like, make little challenges to achieve in each of the games. Like, I think that would be neat.
Like, it's right there. Like,
it's right there.
It's pure fucking gold if they don't...
Yeah.
Like, you're just leaving money on the table, I feel like.
I mean, they could basically just do it as one of those compilations that they're always releasing.
Yeah.
Just like, here's 30 games, and hey, we put some, like, achievement stuff in here with these characters to get Red on board.
Yeah,
basically.
I think the guy... Like, I don't think Sega even cares about Sega Hard Girls anymore.
I know.
I think they done. Like, that shit flopped real hard, and they were just
I mean, they got that game with Neptunia, like, years afterwards.
Yeah, and that wasn't very good. It really bummed me out.
Believes in the dream.
Actually, you know why it wouldn't work is because they would have to port something besides fucking old Genesis games. They would have to actually put some Saturn and Dreamcast games in there to have it make sense.
Give me some Burning Ranger challenges.
Oh my god, they're never porting that again.
Let's have some Knights. Like, Knights is perfect for little compact challenges.
I mean, that's what that game is. Yeah.
Get that Panzer Dragoon Saga anywhere.
That's the problem. It's Saturn emulation and the fact that, oh boy, I bet that shit doesn't scale.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like, I can't imagine what Burning Rangers would look like.
Like, yeah, if they tried to, like, just HDify it. But the truth is, like, come on, Sega. Like, everybody wants those games. Like, they want...
No, we want Panzer Dragoon and basically nothing else.
Yeah, Panzer Dragoon.
And D! We want that D.
You want that D. Gotta have that D.
And that D2. That D. I think I have D2 on disc for no reason.
Yeah, I think I might actually have D2 as well.
And Enemy Zero. Can't forget that one. I've never actually played it.
Skies of Arcadia. Where's the HD version of that? Because there's a perfectly fine GameCube version of that. If Grandia 1 and 2 can get fucking re-releases that are coming out soon, like, come on, people. There's got to be something rights related holding Skies of Arcadia.
That one is weird. Yeah, if it's because they've ported Dreamcast and GameCube stuff. It's just Saturn in general.
Yeah, like Saturn in general is just hard to do because Saturn emulation is you're emulating like 3 processors and it's not weird. Easy.
Like I think the only reason they did Knights is because it's actually based on the PS2 version.
Yeah.
Mm.
As far as I know, like Saturn is just a total dead end.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it works smoothly on my computer. Is the weird thing. Like I can play Knights, I can play Radiant Silvergun, I can play Panzer Dragoon's Zwei.
I know. I set up a Saturn emulator a while ago, and I like used the actual discs, and you just put the disc in, and it just boots the game up, and I'm like, this is like
I'm reliving 14 years old.
It's like my PC is a Saturn now. That's rad, and it wasn't upscaling or anything. It's just like wow, it's pixels big as my ass.
Put that on the back of the box. It's pixels big as my ass. Rhett, Sockscast.
That's funny.
That's the best thing you've ever said on this podcast.
Saying I love that system. I'm saying it probably doesn't hold up well visually. Because PS1 sure doesn't either. Like, let's be honest.
Oh, no. Yeah, like, if you look at fucking PlayStation games on an HD monitor, oh boy, you're in for a ride. Everything looks like it's going to fall apart at any moment because models always have that weird fucking jitter.
The whole Z-axis thing doesn't adjust
That's
for.
That's why you play them on your PlayStation Vita. Then it's small.
It's small.
John, you're the only person that owns one.
Won't be anyone else soon.
Nope.
Because that's discontinued.
Good
night, sweet prince. May flights of angels sing thee to thy rest.
I mean, I wonder how long Limited Run Games is going to be putting out Vita stuff, because there's one coming up.
Yeah.
They're doing that VN
House of Fata Morgana. Yeah.
Is getting a Vita release. Like,
that shocked me, but I think it's awesome.
Will that be accessible outside of the physical version?
Yes, they're releasing it.
That means I can play. That means I can play House of Fata Morgana on my PlayStation Vita.
Yeah, they said they're going to release it digitally on all fronts as well. So.
That's so nice, but I can never play VNs portably, and that's like ideal.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
but, like VNs are so fucking suitable for a portable console.
Yup, and you can't just for the most part. One more thing on my action game journey, I was like, this was so nice. I want to do one more that's not a shmup, and then I just booted up Journey to Silius.
Yo,
I fucking love that game.
That game's real good.
It's real good. I played it to death like 2 years ago and beat it. And then I was like, I'll beat it in 1 credit. And then a couple hours later, I beat it in 1 credit.
Nice.
Well, let's see if I can push this a little bit harder. And then I spent the next day trying to beat it in 1 life, and I did that this morning.
And you did it! There's a video on YouTube to prove it.
Yep.
I watched. I was impressed.
Thank you. I feel pretty good about that. I cut it real close on level 4.
Oh,
I had like half a point there at the end.
Yep. Funny thing about that game is that it's supposed to have more health drops, but the value that determines whether an enemy drops health, it's actually entered incorrectly.
Oh,
so you do get gun energy at the rate you're supposed to, but the health drop rate is actually they mistyped it.
That explains it,
amazing.
Because it comes very rarely, like once a level.
Yeah, you see a health drop, it's like fucking catching Santa Claus on your roof.
What? That makes a lot of sense. Well, yeah. So I was just being that. All right, every hit I take, that's just with me for the rest of the 6-minute level.
Yep.
And then there's a couple parts where you can't really avoid damage, as far as I can tell. So you gotta account for that.
Yeah. The enemy placement is really kind of like whoever designed that part was really just fuck the player. Like we didn't really think that part out too much. We just thought, if I put the enemy here, is the chance of it damaging the player 80% or higher? All right, good. It's staying.
Yeah. I did that no damage run of the first level, which was very tricky because there's a lot of parts where I was like, you have to like hack into the game to mainframe to get around damaging enemies.
Yeah.
To get around taking damage. As far as I can tell, that is not feasible for the remaining levels. I think it'd be fun to do like a no damage run of just like each level.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not no damage, low damage, where I just like I avoid all the hits that I know I can consistently avoid, because I didn't do that on the playthrough.
Right, yeah.
Because the thing is, I'll be playing Journey to Silius, and I'll be like, all right, how can I dodge this attack? Let me look online. And the answer is you get hit and die, and then you restart and have more lives. Like if you just Google long plays, it's like, oh yeah, you just get hit there.
Or if you're Googling a speed run, it's it's a damage boost. Okay,
damage boost.
Sure.
I look at the speed run. It's just a lot of
the speed run's silly.
It looks real hard.
You can like another thing about that game is if you hit up on the right frame of your run cycle, you actually move 1 pixel faster as well.
Oh jeez.
So you have to like hold up and right to move, and if you catch it on the right frame, you'll actually run 1 pixel faster.
Games are amazing.
And that game's great. And there are some real great death warps in that game too that have to do with jumping like 1 pixel to the left or right after you reach a checkpoint. For some reason, when you die, will put you at the next checkpoint.
Oh wow.
It's like, what is the math behind that?
Yeah, I'm probably giving that a little bit of a breather, of a distance there. It's very funny though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right.
Well, it's a game where the health value drop rate is typoed, so don't give it too much credit. Even Ocarina of Time has warps like that. If you hold a bottle in the right frame and then moonwalk backwards as the boss is dying, and you release the fairy in the door.
Yeah.
You know, it's trivial stuff that everybody can figure out.
Anybody would have bumped into that. Easy stuff.
Like catching Mew in Pokemon.
Exactly.
The thing I kept coming back to when I first played the game, and then ever since, is like, this feels like the hardest, best parts of Mega Man X1, but without all the overpowered weapons.
Yeah.
Like, the really claustrophobic corridors in the fortress levels. It's just kind of like that, but a whole game.
Yeah, and like
So
enemy patterns that are coming at you are very devious and take full advantage of that limited mobility that you have.
It just feels like a puzzle game. Like every set piece is like, how do I get around this? And then you have your. A lot of times you can get around it with the regular weapon. A couple times you'll need to use the special weapon, and then sometimes you just take damage.
Yeah, sometimes fuck it.
But like even then, when I looked up online and I was like, how do I get past this part? And then they just take damage, and then I'd drop a save state there, and I'd experiment for like 5 minutes, and then I'd be like, oh, this is how. Like the first boss was that where I had I thought it was just impossible, and then I figured out if I just jump in front of the guys with the shotgun in the right way, then I can hit them every single time.
Yep.
And that felt real good. That felt real fun to figure out, just like doing sort of challenge runs in Mega Man X was. So I really love Journey to Silius. I think that's my favorite Sunsoft joint.
Yeah, that's pretty high up there, I would say. Yeah, I think that's a pretty acceptable answer.
I want to dig into the rest at some point. Mostly, I just want to play more action games, kind of intensely. Like I'd love to do I feel like a one life clear of Castlevania 1, because that's just one of my favorite action games.
Do it!
It's very doable for me because I know that game pretty well, among others. So I just want to keep trying. I like it. I like action games.
They're fun. Who wouldn't who would have imagined that action games are pretty fun?
Yep. Wuzzy had to put it very nicely. He said a 1cc is a way of feeling like you're doing something important without actually doing anything important or being in danger.
Yeah.
It's just like doing that kind of action, but at like the stakes of, oh, I'll lose a half hour of progress if I make this one mistake. So when you finish it, it feels like, oh yeah.
Look, man, video games, all of them are just roguelikes. That's all it is. That's all it is. It's just a roguelike. You have to start over when you die.
There you go. So that's been very satisfying for me.
Awesome.
Rhett!
Hi.
What have you been up to?
Okay, so very quickly, the game that looks like the better version of the Gradius 3 3D stages is Galaxy Force 2.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I just wanted to correct that, because I'm like, I know there's somebody that did this, but way better. And that was 98, so probably before Gradius 3 did their shitty version.
98?
Or 88.
88,
Gotcha.
Yeah. Because it's, around the time of Afterrun and Afterburner.
Afterrun and Outburner.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, I played Trails in the Sky second chapter. No funny jokes here.
That game's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Really good.
Gives you all kinds of feels.
I think that was one of Polly's number 2 game of the year, and then I think it was John's game of the year last year.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, you did you do Trails second chapter as your number 2, and then Trails third as your number 1?
No, my I think Trails in the Sky 1 and 2 were on the same list the year before, and then Trails third was my game of the year last year.
Yeah, that's what I thought, was that it was number 1.
So we had 1, 2, and 3 fully represented last year.
Yep.
Oh, right. That was wild.
Yep. Probably won't happen this year.
Nah, can't imagine it. Can't imagine it.
I've sat here thinking about how to talk about this game for a week, and I don't know, because everything about it is a spoiler.
Yeah, it's the follow-up to all the big shit that happens at the end of the first game, and now,
it's more of that.
Yeah, it's a lot more of that. It's a lot more of just that Falcom doing the thing they do very well.
Being the best at everything.
Telling a real good story. I understand you were a little disappointed with the difficulty.
Yeah. So the thing I always heard about second chapter is oh, don't worry, the difficulty picks up from the first game.
See, I thought it did.
So I think everybody seems to agree. The prologue is very difficult.
Oh, yeah.
And then you get, the prologue is difficult because you're very limited in your gear because it kind of resets you, especially the orbment stuff. And you have limited options.
Yeah.
And then, you start building your party back together and getting some more orbments, and then the difficulty just kind of fell off a fucking cliff for me.
That's it kind of happened that way for After 5 as well, because he just kind of got used to spamming arts all the time and just
I wasn't
nothing but
just spamming arts, but
he got White Gehenna and that was it.
See, I found that one. I thought they nerfed the shit out of that in this one.
Really?
That was the one I used constantly in the first game.
Yeah, I used
like,
Hellgate in the first one. I used Hellgate in the first one and, and Death Screaming too.
Yeah. Those never seemed that great to me. Like, I just had, Chloe doing elemental stuff for most of the game.
I think I remember, like, I think I like Death Scream a lot because all clones are susceptible to instant death, so I just always use Death Scream.
Yeah, that could be pretty good.
Yeah, so... I definitely took the heat off on a few of those later boss encounters.
Yeah. But, I mean, this isn't a huge knock against the game, I just want to say, but, like... It did kind of take some of the excitement out of that final boss gauntlet when I literally never felt threatened in any way whatsoever.
See, that's crazy because everybody I've seen fight that final boss has either made the big mistake that you can make in that fight and ignore a very big thing that is kind of sprung up on you as an element of a battle that's never been a point of a battle before.
I made that big mistake 3 times and then I died.
God.
See, I saw After 5 make that mistake once, but it happened to 2 characters. And the 2 characters he had left, he had to slug it out, and the boss still had like 27,000
Okay, so now that I know
left.
which one you're talking about, I saw that and went, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Because the boss was already at like 1/4 health by then, so I'm like, I think I know what's going to happen. I'm fine. And then it was like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm fine.
Wow.
Even though it happened to my best character.
That's crazy. It happened to 2 of After 5's best characters.
Yeah,
damage-wise. Damage-wise. So he had to do like 27,000 damage.
Yeah, see, I was like already under that when it started. I was kind of like, is it just... If I don't win by the time it goes, do I just lose the entire fight? Or just, this one character is going to get hit? And it was the latter, so I'm like, I'm fine.
Whatever. Later.
Oh my god, this affects the ending. You have to
Rhett's
go back.
the kind of person that leaves Shadow behind on the floating continent.
That's almost what seemed like what was going to happen. It's like, well, it's like Mass Effect 2. Anybody can die during the final boss. Permadeath.
Those loyalty missions are so good, and the way that fucking entire final mission plays out.
The final mission where anybody can die.
I got through with nobody dying!
I had 1 death, and then I never played Mass Effect 3.
Yeah, you're fine. You don't ever have to.
But the character that died, I was really bummed, because I'm like, their story's going to pay off in the next game. And then they died, and I'm like...
Well, maybe not so much.
So anyways, yeah, I don't know. I just got real good at having, kind of 2 support characters and 2 offensive characters, and just cruised right through that whole last half of the game.
Yeah, that's just like, because there are so many moments in that game that caught me off guard that I wasn't expecting, especially boss fights that made explicit use of status effects and shit that I was just in no way prepared to handle.
That's so weird.
Or they would get lucky and nail all of my characters with it or something.
I did have an item that's like resist all status effects on a couple characters by the end.
Yeah, they give you those like candy by the end of that game.
Well, I think I only had 2, but there was one fight that I got really lucky on where just that fight starts and 3 characters were immediately killed before I got a turn off. And I still won that fight because of who was left alive.
Oh, that's crazy.
So I was just like, that's a bad thing I don't want to happen again. Luckily, I've got my win button. Boop, I'll revive.
Yeah, Chloe's...
she's very good.
Her revival S-Craft is stupidly good.
So the fact that she was the one that didn't die was like, I still have a fucking chance. Holy crap. The hardest fight for me, like, not joking at all, was those fucking giant worms. Just spam Earthquake.
Yeah.
That's like the only fight to kill me more than twice.
Yeah, it killed me a couple of times, and then I was smart and was like, wait a minute, why am I not reading that blurb of text that's there by their info box? Oh, they only do so-and-so when they are when they have less than full health.
Wait, it literally says that?
Yeah, if you have the information quartz, it'll tell you.
Oh, okay. I don't use information. Okay.
Yeah, well, I did
I was
it
about
just
to feel very stupid for not reading that.
Well, see, like, that had been my assumption, is that, like, okay, like, the only ones that keep doing it are ones that I have attacked. So I put on information, and in the next fight, it was like, oh, okay, that's what's happening here.
Yeah.
Okay, Tengu Gemini in chat says, I made sure I had the objectively worst character in my final party. She helped out a lot.
Yeah,
I did too.
Yeah, Rhett took
if
the...
we're thinking of who we're talking about, I used her too.
Rhett brought the Sky Bandit with him as well.
And she helped. She got the final hit on the final boss.
That's incredible. I think she's earned the redemption. She, you know, like, yeah, you might have been kind of an asshat in the past, but you did kind of just save the entire fucking country here.
Yeah.
I think I had the slightly similar experience, which is wild because I still didn't understand the magic for most of the game. Where, like, my hardest fights in all of Trails were the 2 fights with the really hard guy in FC, and then my hardest boss was that guy in Sorry, did I say I said FC, right?
Yeah.
And then my hardest fight was that one in SC, and I was like, oh god, how do I even do this? I don't know. And then I just remembered that I have that one spell, and then I used it, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I can do this. I think he's susceptible to a specific ailment too, and then I was like, oh, okay, yeah, we got this in the clear. So it was not as hard as it was in FC for me.
Yeah, it's like
Cool.
There are certain ways that certain bosses can be broken if you know how to exploit them. Like Cold Steel 1 has a real big problem with Impede, and that if you stack Impede, you can literally just... If an enemy is susceptible to AT delay, you can literally just impede them indefinitely. Like, After 5 fought the true final boss of Cold Steel 1, and it didn't get a turn.
Oh, man.
That's a power play.
Yeah, it's kind of... Yeah, Impede is stupid in Cold Steel 1 and 2.
Huh.
That's actually how I beat Romancing Saga 2, but was that you get a move that just gives you an extra turn, and I just used it over and over and over and over again, and then I barely ran out of MP right before the end, and then he almost killed me, and then I won, and I was like, boy, this game.
Definitely.
But in that game, you get... The only way to win in Saga is to cheat it.
Yeah.
And then even then, you barely scrape by.
Yeah.
Just like Dark Souls, right? Because everything about Dark Souls is cheap and hard, and you can only cheat to beat it.
Anyways.
So like,
yeah.
how did that story land
So Rhett hates SC because it's too easy.
Yeah.
Let's continue.
But yeah, how did the narrative land for you?
It's good. I mean,
it goes real fucking hard after a certain point. Like, it's very episodic for its first half.
yeah.
But then when it hits the go, when it hits go mode, it doesn't stop
you
going.
Saw me, like, fucking binge that shit, like, harder than anything for, like, 2 weekends in a row. Like, once I hit chapter 5. Like, it's like, okay, I think I did, like, 6 and 7 in the same day or something insane.
Yeah, you were just fucking full ham on that game.
And I was just like, oh, man, like, I don't even quite remember everything that happened because I just binged it so hard. And then there's that one, like, the very end of 8, that last hour.
Oh, man.
When everything happens?
When everything's going down. And
I couldn't believe you. Like, I literally messaged you guys at, like, 11 p.m. and then kept messaging you over the next hour. And then it was like, okay, I'm in like, final chapter now. Wow, was that only an hour? Because everything just happened.
Yeah, like that, like the end of that chapter is so fucking incredible because literally everything's going down.
Yeah. God. And it's also, like, one thing that I thought was interesting about FC is that it resolved much more than I thought it would for a game called First Chapter.
Yep.
Like, it really largely, almost pretty much entirely resolves the main conflict that game is about.
Yeah.
And then hits you with the stinger.
Yeah.
I think the thing about SC, they kind of sound similar if you mumble them.
They really do.
So the thing about second chapter is that there's really not that much resolution. I felt like.
I feel like they take care of the imminent threat, but there's a lot that's looming, and a lot of stuff kind of starts spilling out about the world, and the people that are more kind of entrenched in the politics of this world. And you start seeing more of that stuff kind of bubble to the surface to real. Those are kind of your indication, like, oh, this is a really big thing that's happening, and it's more than just liberal that's part of it.
Yeah,
but there's going to be 15 of these.
It's crazy.
But my thoughts was like more that like you don't get any. There's no like walk around town, talk to every character at the end, something like that. No. There's not a whole lot of falling action because this game is kind of action right till the very, very end.
Yeah, like it just goes as hard as it possibly can. I remember when I was so naive and was like, yeah, I'll probably play the second and not worry about the rest. And then you get that little bit of a stinger at the end of SC that's just enough to make you go, what the fuck was that?
That's a real good one, especially with the dub on, I will say.
Yes.
I was just like, what? What?
What's going on?
But, like, I think my thought was like, oh, there's not a whole lot of slow character chilling resolution in this one. It's like, oh, because there's apparently, like, a whole nother game of resolving things, I believe.
Yeah. I think I would have felt the same way, or I did sort of feel the same way, where if there wasn't a third game, I would probably feel kind of disappointed. Yeah. In the sense that this is plot. There is so much plot for the last like 10 hours of that game. Like there's a big arc with the main two characters, obviously, that lands really hard. Like there are a bunch of other little arcs, but like this is the big JRPG. And I think that I was able to really enjoy it as that, knowing that there was going to be another a whole epilogue RPG.
Yeah,
so that I could just live with these characters for another 50 hours.
Yeah, that's exactly where third's going to take you. It's gonna do its best to kind of take care of most of the concerns you have, kind of coming out of that story.
That's good because I was kind of like, well, they do the main characters, but there's a whole lot of side characters you care about in that universe by the end, and
like
they just kind of get.
In my Game of the Year thing, like, that is a game, like Trails the Third is a game that really fucking cares about its characters as much as you do, and it really pays off.
Yeah, cool.
One thing I was thinking is, like, so I assume you can import your save into the third.
Yup.
And there's some stuff that went down for me in that kind of final dungeon that can, some very wild deviation, depending on who you bring into the end. And I'm thinking, I hope they address that. I literally have no idea, and I don't want to know, but
obviously not going to say anything.
Yeah, it's just I wonder if that gets addressed or resolved, and because it's like to the point of they'd have to make like two entirely different scenarios based on if you did the thing or not.
Yeah,
for a couple characters, so that's interesting. So that's why I was very determined to like. I'm gonna run back to the ship and switch characters again. Thank God for boost mode, making it not take 20 minutes.
Just in case. Yeah, I kept going back and forth there.
Thank you for...
Hi, Ballas.
Thank you for the subscription, Ballas.
Did it just fart?
Yep.
Sigh.
Life is good.
I love that it's just going to ruin every little sweet moment from now on. It's the best. It's the best, really.
Boost mode is kind of weird. I do feel like it may lessen some of the impact of some stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Because when you can just zoom through these dungeons, like if you, especially like the last dungeon, kind of is a big circle.
Yeah.
And just kind of keep going up. So like any like internal anticipation is kind of ruined when you can just zoom past everything.
See, I still had that I still had that like anticipation because the story was still holding very close to that. And I don't know, Tengu, I don't know why the bits don't fart. I've got it set to fart. I don't know why they don't.
Okay.
But yeah, like for me, like even if that final bit where you're running up the tower kind of like is boring structure wise, like the anticipation of what was actually waiting for me was still enough to keep me still enjoying things.
And there's so much dungeon before that. In that area. Yeah. It's sort of like E6, where like you have the big long dungeon, and then you have the actual last area is just like a straight shot up with 2 bosses. Yeah. And because they also ended FC with a big 3-hour maze.
I was kind of surprised this didn't have the big JRPG dungeon like that did, because you kind of expect systems to, further develop as you go.
Right.
And I felt like FC did get dramatically more complicated with the sewers at the end are fucking nightmares.
Oh, God,
And then that last dungeon is just fucking all the dungeon.
Here's all the doors, motherfucker. Let's see where they go.
Yeah. I think that just read as a very conscious choice for me. Like, we want to focus on the narrative momentum here.
Yeah.
So I felt the same kind of like, well, I probably could have done a big maze. I wouldn't have minded a big maze, but also I get it.
Yeah. I don't know how to say this. I think it would have been nice outside the thing if they had a little thing there like, hey, change your party members here instead of making you go all the way back.
Yeah, that's
because they kind of do that in the first game where they have a moving front basically.
Yeah.
There's a very clear point where they could have had all the characters just chill out for the end game.
Yeah, like I think every game past SC actually has a way to handle that.
Yeah, it's just it felt like this weird thing they forgot to do.
Yeah.
When it is so fucking critical to change your party members.
Yeah.
In that last gauntlet. But again, minor complaint and boost mode. Zoom zoom. Bloop. I actually say zoom zoom every time I'm using it.
Just picturing you in the room, just zoom zoom.
Fucking cute dork you.
Oh, for God's sakes. Well, cause I actually made it faster than the defaults too, so when I'm on the overworld,
God.
I'm just like fucking zooming. Like, oh, we've got to run between these 2 towns. Zoom zoom. I'm there. The dumbest thing is early in the games when you get spotted by a monster and they start chasing you, I'll try and hit boost mode to run away faster.
Everybody does that! Everybody thinks they're running away faster.
It's just this natural instinct, and then it always works out against your favor because the monster speeds up too, and then they hit you from behind.
Yeah, and
then you're really fucked.
Yeah, but you get 100% like escape rate in that game. So
yeah, why is that?
I have no idea, but I think it's really convenient.
It's really convenient in those final dungeons when you're just zooming by everybody. Yeah, and at that point, you're not even using like the orbment that allows you to see enemies from a distance.
Yeah,
And then you get the no encounters orbment anyway.
I mean, I use that like in Chapter 8 because there's a lot of running around.
Oh, yeah.
But towards the end, it's like, well, if I get into a fight, I do want this experience, and then because I've got to completely clown this last boss by being level 90. I've got the video to prove it this time. The final boss in that first game, you were both there fucking wrecked me like 3 times.
Yeah, you were getting destroyed pretty hard. Felt pretty bad for you.
So this time I was locked in.
Yeah.
I was like, I am keeping these earth walls up. I am keeping these heals going. And every character contributed. And then the final boss just seems to have like, keeps doing like defense down stuff. So like everybody was doing a lot of damage, which really surprised me.
Yeah.
Like characters that have previously been hitting for 1 damage are doing 4 digits now. And it's like, oh, it's nice.
Yeah.
Because this boss like has 0 defense just in case. And like 150,000 HP or something.
Yeah, it's pretty high.
It's pretty high,
but it's one of those bosses where it's like the Lavos core where it shuts off its defense.
Yeah.
The
like Chrono Trigger specifically definitely was something on my mind during these final bosses, just background wise.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we're having all the light show right now.
Yeah. We're busting out all of the aesthetic for these final bosses.
And then, God, that game was hard.
It's like, oh, this is definitely the final boss because of the music, and then there's another definitely the final boss after that.
Okay, yep. Okay, yeah. This music. Okay, yep. That's a very good final boss track.
I had that music come to me in a dream. I heard it,
Oh,
like the
wow.
very final boss one. But like I didn't know the name of it, so in the dream the name of it was Waikahenna, which isn't actually the name of the song.
No,
but
that's not...
dreams are fucking wild.
But that's
but then I
crazy.
don't know how to Google like the song before that. Like, what's the name of the final boss music? No, not the final one, the final one.
Yeah,
there's a nice playlist on YouTube that's just battle music from Trails.
Yeah,
and then it moves linearly, so I don't see spoilers from the later games. So I was able to find it that way. Like, let's just move through each of these and find which one is the right one.
Yeah,
there it is.
Cool.
Oh, okay. I'd forgotten about the FC final boss too. I was like, oh yeah.
Oh, that fucking thing. I was so close to one shot, or not, doing it on the first try. And then it was at like 8,000 HP left, and then bonk. That, like, Polly went to the bathroom, and it did, like, the big ultra move on a crit.
Oh, right! I came back, and you were dead!
And it did, like, 8,000 damage to everybody.
Oh, that was so good.
And then I just tilted and lost, like, 3 more times, and then finally got it. So that did not happen. That did not happen on the SC final boss. I never felt in danger. Even when I was bringing lower party members to those fights on the tower.
That's really...
I just went, fuck this. I'll bring them in at level 60 and still did fine.
That's nuts.
Even with, like, confusion landing, like, every 2 hits was fine.
Because some of those final boss fights really
that one was
fucked
pretty
me
hard,
up.
But I still, yeah. The only one I prepped for was knowing Deathblow was coming.
Oh, yeah. Like, when you know that's coming, like, I knew to put on an instant death accessory, but then there's, like, another fun trick in the middle of that fight that I didn't know was coming. I was like, you motherfucker.
Yeah, that one got me. I was like, oh, this might be challenging. Revives are such bullshit.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that in FC, the big hard boss heals himself in both fights, and they don't really use that gimmick as much in second chapter.
No.
And that's the one that'll really get you.
Yep.
Yeah. So I will play third in a few months after Mario Maker or something. I don't know.
Yeah. So I will win. Because I'm already up to chapter 4.
Yeah, you started it before I finished this one because you couldn't stand being behind.
No, it's because you were playing the game and enjoying it so much it made me want to play Trails, and because I couldn't stand being behind. So I started third before you finished second chapter. So I have always been ahead. Just not that it matters.
If I had binged third all this weekend, I could have possibly gotten ahead of you while you were playing action games.
That would have been pretty fun. Well, John was playing third all weekend.
Oh, yeah?
He started on Friday, and yeah, he's been posting in another DM conversation, and he's been talking about it quite a bit.
See, I'm being left out now.
Oh, that's true. You'll get to contribute on this. We'll all be there for the last. I'll be able to be there for the last one. If it weren't
that's what I was thinking. It was one of us was gonna get kicked out because I'm like, it's gonna be weird when I have to kick John out of this for when I play third.
I'd understand. Oh man.
Yeah, that game's pretty
Ballas, if you want to be involved, you follow us on Twitter, you dingbat.
Yeah, let us know.
God.
And also, I also played Ys 8 like a couple months ago. These games are real good, y'all.
Falcom's kind of real good at making the video game things.
Yup.
I think I might be playing Ys 8 soon.
Yeah, Rhett's going to be playing Ys 8 soon.
Wink.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I did, was I beat Trails SC, and then I played Ys 6 and Ys 8, and I was like, yes, these are also very good.
I played 6 and 7.
Oh.
You skipper.
You
cheated the game and yourself.
Damn! That was even quoted in chat earlier.
Yep.
That's what made me think of it. It's called a reference.
Damn.
Yeah, I don't think I need to talk about third. It's very, very good so far.
Oh.
No,
okay.
You have to talk about third at some point, John.
I know. Oh, no, I'm saying that I'm going to finish it, and then we'll talk about it, very evasively.
I'll mute my headphones and go, la, 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 la.
Yeah, like the thing with third is that I had no idea what the structure of the game would be.
I don't know what it is either, and I'm so close to playing it.
I had no idea what it would be. I'm not going to say anything that would hint as to what it was. I didn't know where it would be, and then the answer is very pleasing.
It's
to
refreshingly different.
Yes, it's very pleasing.
The only thing I've ever heard is like side quest the game, so I don't know what that means. Like, I literally see that game as being like picking chapters from a menu.
I think that's a terrible explanation of what that game
really,
is.
Because I could have sworn it came from you or Chelsea. But
I don't think
the side quests are important in that. Like, the optional content is very important.
Yeah, like the optional content is one, easy to do and easy to find, and two, very mandatory if you want everything out of the story.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like it's side quest the game because the side quests are the important part, basically.
I think that's fair. Or at least so far.
Like you'll see when you get in game what it's doing.
That's what's so weird is because I have no idea how it's structured. It's because it's obviously not like Witcher 3 or something or maybe it is. I don't know. Because that's the other game that's also side quest the game.
Yeah, that's...
There's just a point like 4 hours in where I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm here for this. Okay, all right. Cool.
Like, for some reason, my mental image of that game is just picking characters from the previous game off of list. Like, it's, what's that Saga game on PS1?
Oh, Saga Frontier.
So you just have, like, 8 characters, and it's just like, oh, let's do Josette's chapter now, and oh, let's do Kevin's chapter. Like, that's how I see that game working, even though I'm probably, like, not 100% wrong.
Well, I'm not going to say.
I don't think we should say anything.
I'm not saying
I know, that's
either
what's
way.
so funny. I have no idea what to expect from that thing. Besides the feels, apparently.
Oh, God. Yeah. Oh, God. Yeah. That game's got feels for days.
I really struggled to not start that this weekend, but I really thought I might burn out if I did.
Yeah, that's probably wise.
Yeah. Like, even though third is much more brisk than
second chapter.
SC, it's still a pretty chunky commitment.
Yeah.
But again, I am on chapter 4 now.
The chapters in this game seem to keep getting shorter.
Yeah.
Because
that was FC.
Yeah, FCs are super long, and then SCs are shorter, but there's like twice as many.
Yeah.
Yep. So I don't know how many there are. So I'm excited.
That's good. The fact that I thought I was like, oh, looking at the notebook, I'm on the final chapter, and then there was one more.
Yep. Yeah, I thought for sure it was 8 Sorry.
I already mentioned chapter 8 anyway, so...
Okay, yeah. I thought for sure that was it, and then, okay. Alrighty. So,
all the stuff is happening.
Poor Polly and Chelsea and me talked in the DMs like, man, going to other stories after Trails, huh?
Feels real weird.
Kind of like, oh, yeah. Because my thinking was like, there's stuff that's like as fun and well crafted, I think, but then it doesn't have the really warm, nice worldview.
Yeah.
And then there's stuff with the warm, nice worldview, but it's not as fun in anime.
Yeah.
So like Trails is just like this very good balance that makes me very happy.
I definitely agree with you about having that warm kind of worldview. It's like somewhere in that series I realized like no one's going to be really truly irredeemably evil in this series, I think, even though there actually was one guy.
One guy's been pretty fucking awful so far, I think.
Yeah. But it's more like this. It's not a series that goes for like grimdark or shock value or like killing characters off. Yeah.
It's not going for cheap heat.
Yeah, definitely not. And I think that's appreciated.
Yeah, this made me like kind of think about how like, okay, you can create really good dramatic stories that don't kill off people every 2 seconds or whatever.
Or do other things. I'm thinking of Sword Art Online now. It's like the exact opposite way of building tension. One thing I noticed actually towards the end of this game is that, so I played with the Japanese dub from the Evolution versions, and you start to see maybe a little bit more towards the end, like if you know a little bit of Japanese, like, oh, they're really punching up Estelle's dialogue, huh?
Oh, yeah.
And that makes me a little worried about future translations that aren't done by Xseed.
Yeah, well, the Xseed people, they moved over to Misa, and they're doing Cold Steel 3, so...
They're good.
That series is in good hands, and I think that it's smart of them to have realized why that series is so beloved here, and why Xseed's translations are revered as they are.
Because there's just so many little moments, though, of like characters saying something, saying like a name in Japanese, but then the English will be like, "That's right," or ... or like doing the opposite.
Yeah,
like, just little corrections. But then there's the big ones where it's like, I'm pretty sure when Estelle says "nani sore," that doesn't translate to "my whole butt."
but my whole butt, pretty funny.
It's a real fucking funny line.
Real
like, time for
funny.
ultra violence.
Yeah, like the way they punch up the dialogue, it gives everybody character. Like characters like Olivier and Estelle.
Oh my god, yeah, he is amazing.
They fucking shine in this script.
Yeah. But like Estelle especially starts to veer maybe a little bit towards Neptune.
She has her moments.
In her goofier moments, yeah.
She has her moments, but I still think they really fit her, though.
Definitely. I will definitely take that over, a very literal translation where characters are just talking much stiffer than they do.
Yeah, like the translations that I played for Zero and Owl.
I was about to say,
yeah, that's when I say
sadness going
upcoming games. I'm also talking about those, like the fan translated ones, like not to shit on work that people have done for free, obviously, but
obviously, like it's
these translations are so good.
Yeah, and I know that they've been working to kind of do a re-release of those to punch them up as to the best of their abilities.
Yeah.
So,
because it's just such a difficult thing, I'm sure, to do of like when to cross that line of like contextualize stuff as an English speaker would say it instead of doing a very literal Japanese translation that can be kind of dry.
Yeah.
I'm excited for every Trails game. and it's still going. Like, this is something that we just get to be excited about for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, it's still going. There's still probably at least 2 or 3 more games left in the current universe, so...
Yeah.
So Cold Steel 4 is not the end. Like,
no.
It's weird talking about that because you don't want to be spoiled, but oh my god, it's not the end. Okay.
No, it's not the end. It's not the end of the series. Right? It's sort of where a lot of things, a lot of the big stuff does come to light.
It's the end of the Cold Steel sub-franchise.
It's the end of the Cold Steel sub-franchise, which is also still very intertwined with the Sky and the Crossbell games. Like, there's bleed over from everything.
Yeah. They said that was like 60% at the end.
Oh my god!
So
I think that 60% number may be a little like I don't know. Okay. I think they may be fudging that a little bit.
I've definitely seen people being like, "How the fuck do you still have more to say after 400-hour RPGs?" Like specifically about the Cold Steel games.
Yeah.
Like seriously, guys.
Well, when you're dealing with an entire world and those 4 games only focus on one part of it, like I still think that, you're going to have more to say.
Yeah, I think it's like a George R. R. Martin or whatnot will write all these books and not finish them or do anything with like Falcom, because like FC feels complete in its own little way, and then second chapter builds on that, a third builds on that. It's constantly introducing characters and taking them on these beautiful, complete journeys. Like, that's the kind of... If you just keep doing that for every game and making every game, like, a complete arc unto itself, and every saga a larger complete arc unto itself within the largest arc, then as far as... Like, you can keep going for as long as you want, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Like, I have a question for Polly, but it's also hard to not ask for spoilers.
Okay, I'll try. If I can't answer it without spoiling, I'll just say I can't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. In the way that the first chapter kind of completes an arc, do you think that OW completes an arc?
Yes.
Okay, that's all I wanted to know.
Okay.
Because I know you were kind of cold on that game, and then you liked Zero.
Well, I was cold on Zero. I was cold on Zero.
OW was the
wait.
And OW is fucking incredible.
No. Okay, does Zero complete an arc?
Yes.
Okay.
Zero does complete an arc.
Okay.
Yeah. It seems like Zero is probably going to be a little bit like FC, where it's a lot of it's a little bit boring when you're not already invested, kind of.
Or the reason, like I've played Cold Steel, so a lot of the events that happen in the Crossbell games are already referenced in Cold Steel. So I knew like 80% of what was going to happen in Zero.
Yeah.
That's why that game was boring to me. But I didn't know, like, the stuff that they didn't spoil was mostly from AO. They don't really spoil it directly so that you know exactly what's happening over there. You just know some raunchy and crazy shit's going down. And,
raunchy?
Yeah, it's raunchy, dude. Full-on orgies in the streets.
That's not this series.
Olivia and Joshua finally consummating the...
Oh, Jesus.
About fucking time.
God, I'm really excited about Trails. I'm really excited about Falcom.
You're going to get off of this podcast and you're going to go play more Third.
Probably. Hey, Rhett, there is one more thing that kind of matches a lot of that warmth that doesn't make me wish I was playing Trails. It was Ys 8.
Oh, cool.
Well,
it's real good.
Yeah, it's kind of weird when you said at the start, like, that second chapter is more Falcom doing what Falcom does best. And I'm like, no, it's like the total opposite of the Ys games for me. Where those are, for me, just always nice, fun, tight action games without a whole lot of story. Whereas this game is all the story.
Yeah, I think how you define Falcom kind of is determined by what your flavor of Falcom is.
Yeah.
Like, if you're into the
Ys
Ys games more... But, like, Ys 8 kind of, like, brought those two flavors together.
Where I'm excited about the story and the action in that game.
Yeah. All parts of that game are just super good.
Well, does it make sense how I finished Trails SC, and I was sort of, like... And thinking back to, like, playing Ys 2 ages ago, and then, like, being able to draw a line of, okay, this was the 8-hour action game short story version of a lot of these concepts, and I can see how you have grown this over time.
I mean, like, Arc of Napishtim definitely feels like a prototype to some of the stuff.
Yeah, I played when I played E6, it was like, oh, this is the 10-hour short story version of that, and then you draw a straight line from Ys 2 to Arc of Napishtim. And like Tom said, Ys 1, like, it's a lot of it's there. Like, you just see it grow and grow and grow.
Yeah, they're a very iterative company.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, everything they do is very iterative. And I think that's sort of like why they've never kind of drowned themselves out of the marketplace or buried themselves under budgets, is that they iterate constantly on everything they do rather than having to start from scratch like every time.
Yeah. Like, I'm really interested in the older games as well, like the Trails games, just as, like, I want to keep seeing how this arc sort of grew. I want to play the remaining Ys games I haven't played. There's the ones in between 6 and 8. Quite a few of them. There's so many Falcom games. I'm really excited. Do we know anyone that's dabbled in the Legend of Heroes 3 through 5 PSP games?
My only shot would either be Tengu or Ballas. Maybe, and I don't know for sure.
Okay, because that does not seem... The PC98 ones are so pretty, but we cannot play those, so...
No. Yeah.
I watched some Trails recap video, and at the very start it's like, okay, so Trails in the Sky is actually Legend of Heroes 6, which was a spin-off of Dragon Slayer, which was a spin-off of something else 6. I'm like, what? Man, this series got weird.
Yeah, but like the Trails series itself,
chronologies are crazy.
Yeah, like when Trails in the Sky came, it was just like, this is a whole new world. Like, just forget everything you know about everything before. This is the starting over point.
Have you played Legend of Heroes 1 on the TurboGrafx, Rhett? If you haven't, you can't really appreciate Trails.
No, I have to play Dragon Slayer 1 through 5 first.
Clearly, if you really can't appreciate Trails in the Skies unless you've played Legacy of the Wizard all the way through. Without looking at maps online.
I forgot that was actually connected.
That is Dragon Slayer 4, yeah.
Yep.
Oh my god. So this series directly connects to my childhood.
Yep.
Which was running around that game as the monster that's invincible and being like, what the fuck? This is...
What do I do? You were just you were just zoom all around the place.
Zoom. I mean, that game, that is, what am I supposed to do with the game?
Yeah, like, it's 256 screens. I know that much, so.
Yeah.
I looked at the world map. The whole map. It's very pretty.
It's very pretty and cool, but, like, it doesn't tell you, like, literally anything on what to... You have to, like, go to very specific screens with specific characters.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's my end game of, if I want to getting good at... Like, I talked about getting good at action games, and then on the side, I want to get good at esoteric bullshit exploration games. and that's my. That is my.
I don't think you can get good at random though.
Yeah, you just have to build up the patience, the ability to put up with weird esoteric bullshit. Like I beat Zillion. Like that's a very approachable little thing that still like has its fair share of like you have to map it out manually, you got to do this, this, and this. Mm-hmm. And I beat that legit, and I have my own little map, and so that was like, all right, this is one step closer to Legacy of the Wizards.
This one just seems on such a different level, honestly.
Yeah.
And I know when you play through old JRPGs, you tend to look at maps and stuff, like even Phantasy Star 2.
No, Phantasy Star 2 is its own thing, where I played that game, and I was like, I want to be ready for 4, and I played this game a lot, but it seems really hard, and I don't want to actually play it.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to cheat.
That's why you use maps in Phantasy Star 2.
And then I had a bad time.
Having this patience is so hard with older games.
Yeah, I'm getting better at it.
And Legacy of the Wizard is like one of the... I can't imagine.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how they did that Game Center CX episode without just telling them exactly where to do.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, Phantasy Star 2 was where I was like, okay, this is a shitty, boring way to play these kind of games. I don't want to do this again. So that's why I'm not going to just jump in. I'm going to wait until I'm ready. Like with Ketsui.
Good.
Legacy of the Wizard is Ketsui of esoteric bullshit.
There you go. We've drawn the line. We've completed it. Like nobody understands game theory the way we do, okay? Tell your friends.
Oh, absolutely. We're the smartest and the best and everyone else.
We are the real game theorists.
Oh, I was like, what other major series was a spin-off of another one, like Legends of Heroes? And I'm like, oh, right, Persona, duh. You've really got to play all the Shin Megami Tensei games before you can play Persona 5.
Yeah.
I literally heard somebody say, I mean, I may have told this already, but I heard somebody say the first one in reference to Persona 3.
Yep, I've definitely heard that quite a few times.
They were literally like, the first Persona game, and I'm like, what you're talking about 3 now though? It says 3 right in the name.
Yeah, it's like P3. Like, come on.
3, 4, 5, the trilogy.
Yeah, Final Fantasy X.
Ugh. Okay, anyways. Polly, what you been up to?
I had a whole bunch of shit, and I'll just burn through a couple of them here, because Lordy, we've been going a while already.
Well, we talked about Trails.
John says he's not going to
I think Falcom is a good thing to kind of jump the tracks on, and
we've never really given them love on this podcast, so
nah, never. They've never. It's not like they were completely represented on our Game of the Year list last year or anything.
Oh my god! If I play Izate, I could have them twice on my list.
That's crazy.
That'll be a first because I've generally been kind of the tempered one on them.
Yep.
But I think this is the year it kind of has to happen.
Well,
we'll see. We'll see once you play Izate and
name 10
third.
better. Baba's you.
Well, there you go. That's good.
Number 1.
There you go.
Baba is win.
Baba is win. Baba is GOTY.
Baba is goatee.
All right, real quick.
Okay,
all right, real quick. I played through Devil May Cry 3.
Nice.
You guys remember that hot game from like 2006, I think? 2005?
Oh god, don't list the years. We'll just feel old.
No, that game's That game's always existed, as far as I can tell. Like, there's never been a time where there wasn't at least 3 Devil May Cry games.
Yeah, 3 specifically though.
But there's no second game, so
there is no second game.
Like Phantasy Star, it goes 1, 3, 4.
Yeah.
Strike that. That's
no, it goes 1, 2, 4.
Phantasy Star goes 1, 4 online.
Damn.
If you're gonna.
I think 2 still gets
one is that much better than 2. Like, whatever.
I can respect 1 though for being the first. 2's just bad. Anyways.
Woo! Them hot takes coming out.
Hot takes. It was me.
At the beginning, it wasn't John. It wasn't John in the picture.
It was me.
Yeah. I just like. We'll see. I'm playing another really long kind of slow game, and I need something in the middle to break that up. So I was just like, I haven't played Devil May Cry 3 in years. So I picked that back up. I played through the janky Steam version that's not the HD collection.
That fucking PC version everyone tells nightmares about.
It's pretty bad. I had to do, I think, like, how big was it? I think it was like a 400 meg. I had to download 400 megs of various ways to patch the game. And this isn't just like one fix. This is an assortment of fixes that will get you started so you can at least so you can at least just play the game and it's stable.
So is this like... This is definitely from the era of that Resident Evil 4 PC port.
Yeah.
Except that got ported again.
Yeah.
And this never did.
Yeah.
But people have just found a way to make do, apparently.
Well, I mean, it's on the HD collection now, which is on PC, so...
Oh.
But I don't have that.
But you are playing the original.
Yeah.
Okay.
Our good friend,
I didn't know it.
I think Lyra on Twitter sent this to me, like, God... I want to say 3 or 4 years ago on Steam, and I was just like, I'll get around to playing it, you know. So I fixed it up, got it going, and I have it playing mostly on par with the PS2 version. There's still some really weird jank that just like like models kind of not loading properly, or maybe a bit of scenery or two's missing, or
jeez.
Yeah, it's kind of but it wasn't enough of a train wreck that I couldn't play the game and it still be really fucking on point as one of the best kind of character action games like ever made. I played through this time using mostly the Royal Guard stance, which is the hardest stance to kind of learn to use because it's focused mostly on parrying. So,
excellent.
So I had to get real good at learning the timing of enemy attacks in this game, and boy, oh boy, like, I used to think that game had some great tells for when enemies were attacking until the only way I could really defend myself was parrying a lot. And I was like, well, okay, maybe they could have used a few more extra frames of wind-up on that attack. Maybe.
Sounds like somebody's practicing for Sekiro.
Oh, yeah, you totally see me playing that, buddy.
Exactly the same of, boy, these attacks sure come out in like 2 frames.
Yeah. But Devil May Cry 3 is fun, and when enemies hit me, they don't do 500 million damage and kill me in 2 hits.
That too.
Mostly. There are a few exceptions.
Just play on Dante Must Die, and then you get the real Sekiro experience.
Ooh, well, I've beat Dante Must Die on DLC 3 before.
But trying to do parries.
But not Royal Guard. No, I use Swordmaster and Trickster for that one. But yeah, like, that's just like, I still, like, I blazed through it in about 7 hours. Like, if you've played that game, like, you know, well, you already know where to go, you know what to do. Like, I still remember a lot of the game. That, and I saw our friend Revan stream it a couple weeks ago.
You bring the monster here, and then you bring the mom to this place, to this specific tile on this part of the map, and then that's how you get past it. If once you know it.
It's easy once you know it. Easy.
Is this one of those references we don't get?
I think it is.
I was going back to Legacy of the Wizard. It was a callback.
Jeez.
It was a callback within the episode.
Damn. Well, it's like literal 5-minute callback, and we completely botched it.
No, that was on me. All right, let's put that one in the trash. Continue.
Yeah, but like playing this game, I kind of realized that there's some really smart gameplay decisions that I'd never noticed before. Where, like, if an enemy is off screen, they won't attack you. Which, that was kind of
cool.
Like, they obviously work their way to get on screen, but if they are off screen, they will not start up an attack.
Interesting.
So if you kind of like park yourself facing a corner while beating up another enemy that's in the corner, if the enemies can't like accurately get behind you and within reasonable view, they won't start attacking. So I was like, I never noticed that before until I started having to actually play the game in a more defensive manner and be way more concerned about my health. So like that was pretty cool to kind of find out, like, I don't know, 10 years later. This was like, oh wait, no, this game wasn't just slapped together. Who knew?
I've definitely heard of games doing that. Because it feels real bad when shit starts attacking you from behind.
Yeah. And you have no way of knowing it's happening, yeah.
Because I think I think I saw that the new God of War also has enemies, really hang back if they're out of view because the camera is so close in that one.
It's also got indicators that appear.
Yeah.
Like or if an enemy is attacking, like there'll be like a red arrow kind of thing. So
because there's one game that definitely doesn't have enemies hold back, which is Hellblade.
Senua's Sacrifice. Yep.
Yeah, which is very designed around enemies getting behind you and you having to have that situational awareness. But Devil May Cry is not that game. So
no.
It's cool that they
Devil May Cry 3 is a very technical game. Like there's a lot of there's a lot of depth to its combat in terms of like your attack timing, like deflecting enemy attacks and shit like that. And it's just like it's a game that like gives no fucks if you're tutorialized at all. It gives like this is a game that like when you start out, it's already ready to kick your ass. Like the only gimme mission in this game is the first one, and then after that, like when you get to mission 2, fucking the kid gloves are off. Like that's it. Like the game does not give any fucks about like its method of teaching you is just making you do, and I really like respect that. Just because, like, I had played Devil May Cry 1 and 2 before, like, even back in the day, like, when I first got this game. And, yeah, it beat my ass, but I still pretty much knew what I was doing because I'd had that experience. And I appreciated the fact that this game didn't slow down to literally tell me how to perform every fucking action in the game and shit. Like, that's really smart shit.
But if you want to, is there a menu you could pause and look up the move list?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, like your actions and stuff, you can
like I'm pretty sure.
Up. Like you can look at that list between missions and stuff. So
pretty much every game like this has that.
Yeah.
Like Bayonetta, I know, gives you that move list, and like even like Darksiders.
Yeah.
Which is just a whole bunch of XXXX.
Yeah, Darksiders is just XXXX. Okay, what's this next attack? Oh, it's 5 times X. All right.
Yeah. X hold XXXXX.
Yeah.
X hold.
Boss fights in Devil May Cry 3 are amazing. Like, I absolutely just, like, I had a ball. There's only, like, 1 or 2 bosses in that game that I think are just complete trash, just because we're trying to do something that we've never really tried to do before, and we didn't quite nail the execution, but we put too much money in it to not include it, so we're including it. Like, there's a giant worm boss that flies around that doesn't really work with the mechanics of the way Dante moves. Like, it just feels really awful with those fixed camera angles and you having to track it through, like, 6 different fucking camera angles.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel real good.
But also, you've said giant worms, so now John is on board.
Yeah, John. I thought John had already played DMC3. I wasn't sure.
I haven't played any DMCs. I played Bayonetta. I'm really excited about it. I'm really excited for DMC1, too.
Yeah, DMC1 is still pretty good.
Yeah,
it's rough around the edges. It definitely shows its signs of being a Resident Evil game before it was Devil May Cry.
That's the thing. I played Bayonetta and I played Resident Evil 2. So now I need
so you're pretty much ready.
Yeah, I want to play Devil May Cry 1. I want to play Devil May Cry 3.
Yeah.
I was always going to mention, speaking of series that are spin-offs from other ones, like how Devil May Cry is kind of a Resident Evil spin-off.
Yeah, like the first game really, really feels like it too. Just
That's
it's what I'm excited about.
Like, its entire structure, even though it's still broken up into missions and stuff, like just your progression through that game is very Resident Evil. The way the camera angles are used is very Resident Evil. Like, you can tell that they kind of had to bolt this on to something that already existed, and we just kind of did the best we could to make the best game we could. And it, despite the fact that it's kind of flawed, we still made it work.
The only one I've played is 4, and even then, like, I was like, this kind of feels like some Resident Evil stuff with, like, the fixed camera angles in a lot of places. You can
still feel that DNA. And I think that they didn't really get away from those fixed camera angles 100%, because you can still, like, because even in Devil May Cry 3 you can still, like, move the camera with the right stick, and in Devil May Cry 4 you can as well, but that didn't really become like a full-time feature until DMC.
Yeah, then I played DMC and it's just like, oh, this is totally different now. This just feels like modern action games.
Yeah. But the boss fights are amazing. The thing I remember about, like, when this game came out is, like, these 2 games came out, like Devil May Cry 3 and God of War 1 came out within, like, the same week. And, like, if you
really?
If you went to game FAQs, it was just literally a trash fire on both sides of just like, oh my god, like these games aren't even comparable.
I can see those conversations in my mind though of the DMC fans being like, "Oh, God of War's the baby game."
Yeah, it literally was that. Like anybody that played and enjoyed God of War was a baby, and like they couldn't.
The God of War people being like, "Oh, the DMC fans are such elitists."
Yeah. It's basically that, and that would probably be the same kind of reactions you go if you see it today. Like I wouldn't be surprised if those arguments are still going on for people now discovering those games.
That is a hell of a week though for action game fans.
Yeah, I was pretty stoked, even though I just did not like God of War when I first played it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah, I hated that game. I mean, it's basically why Press Space to Win spawned.
Yeah. Everyone has always been so confused by that message at the end of that game.
Because you can literally just mash fucking square and win.
Press square to win.
Yeah, everybody. But you know, obviously, I do like that first God of War game now because I revisited it a few years ago. How do you
feel about God of War 2019 or 2018?
I haven't played it yet.
I know.
I'm going to though because I'm very stoked for that.
Cool.
I don't know if I should
play the original God of War more.
I don't know if I should play 2 and 3 or just go ahead and jump into the new one or not.
Have you only played the first one?
Yeah, I've only played the first one.
Oh, that's kind of funny.
Like I have 5 God of War games. I have 1, 2, and 3. Well, I have a collection. Like the collection that I got, $20. I got God of War 1, 2, and 3, and 2 PSP games remastered for PS3. $20.
Man, there's a lot of them because I was like, 1, 2, 3, Ascension, which you don't have, so that's actually another one.
I don't want Ascension. That game sounds real bad.
That's the one I played a bit of, and I bailed.
Yeah, that was the one that would just like, even hardcore fans were just kind of like, yeah, this is a fucking cash grab.
I mean, it was fun seeing the PS3 do some impressive stuff, but like,
yeah,
probably not actually as impressive as God of War 3, apparently.
Yeah, God of War 3 is like lovingly handcrafted top to bottom, so
yeah, I think I watched my brother play a bunch of those games. Like he was really into them, so like I think you can see where the first game is kind of doing some stuff with the story, and then it seems like the second and third games kind of get a lot dumber to me. Is sort of my impression. So I think you'd probably be okay skipping to the new one.
Yeah. Like, I might at least kind of, like, throw each one of them in for a couple hours to kind of, like, you know, just see, like, what's the story doing? What's our angry boy doing in this game?
He's killing people. That's the story.
Oh, look, he's angry. He's going to punch this person, and their face is going to become meatloaf right on screen while I have to watch. Great!
Oh, man, there's some grisly shit in, like, 3 that I watched.
God of War 3 gets real gnarly.
Oh boy,
there's some. I remember the E3 trailers for Ascension like making me kind of ill, where he's like ripping heads apart and then like kicking the brain or something.
Yeah, it's
like it's fucking ridiculous.
It gets real fucking silly.
There's a story recently on like Polygon or Kotaku about people who have to build those animations and then the psychological cost.
That crossed my mind, and I decided to not be a bummer, but John did.
Yeah, like people have actually kind of got PTSD from that shit, which is like
real sad.
Shit, that's crazy.
Video games are kind of awful.
Yeah, they kind of video games.
I mean, when you're rendering such realistic gore that you're having your employees look at real shit and then they're like being psychologically traumatized by it, that's kind of that's not good.
Yeah, like I don't know why.
That's not good.
I don't know who in their right mind thinks you need to show somebody actual graphical carnage for them to not like. Trust
me. Have you seen the newest Mortal Kombat, Polly?
Yes, I have. It's real fucking grody.
There's only one way to get that authentic.
Yeah.
It's not good.
No, but it's just, man, come on, use your imagination here, people.
John, have you seen the bug lady in Mortal Kombat 11?
Oh, goodness.
Interest has been piqued.
There's like a fatality where she pukes bugs' eggs into somebody's mouth and they like explode with wings or something.
I think the only one I saw was the lady who like freezes the person, kicks out their brain, like, and then puts the brain in a robot so that it can like do
I
her
saw
bidding. And that was just funny. So
yeah, that was legit funny.
Yes.
So, anyways, where were
so
we?
Devil May Cry 3. Devil May Cry 3
Yeah.
is still really good. I had a blast. Like it just really threw me back, and I wasn't sure how it would hold up because it was just sometimes those older games they don't hold up much. Or you go back to them years later and you're not so good at them and you swear that you were so much better at them back in the day, but. Even going through on Royal Guard, I still managed to, eke by. I still got my ass handed to me a few times, quite obviously. There's some boss fights in that game that are just straight up like, get good within 30 seconds or you're fucking done. Also, don't use healing items, you scrubs. Who needs vital stars? Don't use those. I
play those games like I play shmups as a kid. Healing items and continues on.
No Luca hard mode, no heal, no aether.
I don't know what that means.
Just they're the scrub items. Don't use them. They're literally designed as the scrub items.
I played Dark Souls with no Estus.
I think Colin even got frustrated with a couple people saying like, "Oh, heal is overpowered," and he's like, "Yeah, it's kind of just don't use it. Just don't use it then. It's supposed to be there for people that need it. Don't use it."
Yeah, like there's a very simple solution.
I like using all tools available to me is my problem.
Also, I was kidding about
this game gives me a spell that makes me take no damage. I'm going to use it a lot.
I was kidding about not using vital stars. I will chug those motherfuckers like candy. I ain't out to prove I'm that much of a badass. But yeah, DMC3. If you haven't played that, you should probably play it if you really want to play something that's got some real depth and meat to its combat and kind of makes you work for those victories. And it's got some real
DMC3.
And I forgot how fucking bonkers its story is. Like the cutscenes and the story. Holy shit! It's off the rails, stupid.
Excellent.
I forgot. Like there were some cutscenes I was literally just laughing out loud at, as if I had seen them for the first time because I just completely forgot. It was just like, oh my god, this game is so absurd and fun in all the best possible ways.
Is this the one where they're like doing an opera or something? They're like singing to each other. I can't remember. I've seen it on YouTube.
Sounds like a miss.
Forget what sorry.
Is this your favorite one of this kind of game, Polly?
Oh, man, it's probably real close. Yeah, like, of all the... Like, I like Bayonetta a lot, but... Man, just, like, replaying this again and just how good it felt and how on point all the attacks felt and just how good it felt to kind of parry everything away and then, be able to use the other powers that Royal Guard grants you. It's just like, like, there's just something about it. Like, there's definitely a lot of empowerment going on here, but at the same time, you really work for it. So,
cool.
Man, yeah, DMC3 is probably my favorite character action game.
Cool.
Real good.
Let's try Luca.
I should. I will at some point.
Cool.
It's like, we got to dig through this backlog, though.
Oh, yeah.
No one ever gets through the backlog.
No one ever does. Even Rhett gave up on the box of shame.
Look, I'm playing games from it. I'm just playing them on my own terms.
You got you where you needed to be at the end of SC.
It did the thing.
It was a course correction, and it seems to have worked.
What was the course correction from? Like, where were you at the end of last year where you were like, I need this box?
Disheveled mess.
It was Sonic Forces.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Actually, wait. No. I want to set the record straight. I liked Sonic Forces. It was Sonic Lost World that I felt I'd lost my way.
Yeah, Sonic Lost World was kind of just
I think that game is worse because it has not as much joy in the story.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't go full anime dumb. It just goes pretty dumb.
Not dumb enough for me.
Yeah. Sonic Forces with the Japanese dub on is like the most self-serious fucking bullshit. It's hilarious. It's the funniest shit I've ever played.
I still can't believe I played Sonic Adventure 1 twice without realizing that you could do the Japanese dub. I'm going to do that at some point. Just go full weeb Sonic Adventure.
It's so weird.
I'm so excited.
Okay, let's see.
Let's take a break.
Do I go on to something else, or do we take a break?
Let's take a break. Sorry.
All right. We will be back in like 5 minutes or so. In the meantime, I'm going to put a BRB up on the screen just boop, like that. Look at that. I put text on the screen. I pushed the button and I made the thing happen. Boop. Boop. So you go clean your pants out, whatever it is you have to do, and we will be right back. Thank you for the 150 bits. Mr. Tengu Gemini. Appreciate it.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. It's a whole bunch. It's a big old pile of 100, and then there's a big old pile of 50. Boom. 150. Bet you motherfuckers didn't know I could do math.
She probably knows the maths.
I know them. I don't like math, though. I don't like it at all.
How come it's maths in, like, England?
Because England is far superior, as we are going to find out.
We just have the one math.
Yeah, we only have one. They have many maths.
I like math.
They are highly more... Yeah, I hate math, but you have to use it to make games.
I thought you were going to say make money.
That too, but...
You sure don't. As I found out, you don't have to use money or programming to get jobs in tech.
Wait, what do you do then?
Document management software configuration.
That sounds like the most exciting job anyone could have.
Seriously.
It's a blast. It is a good time because, but there is no programming or math basically.
I honestly thought you were a programmer. That's really weird to me right now.
I know.
I thought you were doing the software, not documenting it.
Not document, configuring and installing and integrating.
Oh, okay.
Working with people on their business processes and how best we can interpret them with the software we've sold them.
And letting them know how bad their practices are.
Yes. Actually, yes, that's part of my job. It's actually mostly people stuff.
Oh, I'd hate it. I'd hate it.
Yeah. I have to get on phone calls with people. I led a meeting of like 7 people that were paying us thousands of dollars, and I was just like, "Hi, everybody. This is John. I'm leading this 2-hour meeting everybody drove out for." So that's my day today.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's kind of intense. But no math. It's sad. That part's sad.
I hate doing things where you have to talk to people. Gosh, it's so annoying. I can't stand like having to communicate with people over technology.
For like 3 hours?
For over 3 hours. Who wants to do that?
That sounds awful.
So okay. I've got like 2 other big things to do. What does everybody else got?
Okay, so you should go next, I guess.
Okay, what is?
I've got a small and a medium, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to talk about my one anime, and then I'm good.
Okay. So I'll do my next thing. I'll throw to John, and then we'll just run it around one last time.
Okay.
All right. Are we ready to go?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
All right. So I'm going to continue hogging the microphone to talk about more stuff. This one may be of interest because I know John Thayer, you have a thing. You like those their Dragon Quest games, don't you?
I do.
Those are give us a breakdown. What's some general things you can expect from a Dragon Quest video game?
Okay, let me put down my ice cream. I played 1 through 5 pretty exhaustively now. I've played 1 through 4 in the last like year and a half, basically. Mm-hmm. Where I replayed 1, 2, and 4 and played 3 for the first time and loved it. 5 was one of the first ones I finished, and I loved that one. So I'm gonna get back to replay that one next, probably. And I played 9, and I thought that was a good time too.
There was a certain perfunctoriness to which you said that, and I played 9.
Yeah, that was kind of my thing, is that I haven't really dabbled with a lot of the modern ones because they're much longer. I kind of talked to Polly about this, where like the originals are like 10 to 30 hours max, and like they've got a certain cadence to that, especially because all the remakes make the battles much faster. They give you a lot of extra money and XP for fighting. So for me, Dragon Quest is very fast.
Yeah.
And that's sort of a big thing about I'm talking in terms of the conversation we already had, Polly.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Dragon Quest, it's a series that doesn't do very much evolving.
No.
You can trace much of any modern Dragon Quest lineage directly back to the start. Just outdated menu systems.
Like
I played Dragon Quest 11. Okay, so
okay, this is getting off to
We're going to jump into that. It's a Dragon Quest-ass Dragon Quest game, but it was made in 2017.
Let me recouch that one more time, because I said all that about Dragon Quest 1 through 5. Those are also like some of my like absolute favorite RPGs ever. Like I think they're complete fucking masterpieces. Like I love all 5 of them.
Yeah.
Like that's like my favorite run of any RPGs, basically, of like just solid. Love this one. 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 So I'm still gonna play 6, 7, 8 at some point.
8 is fantastic. 8 is fantastic. I played that on the PS2 when it came out. Really, really liked 8. It still has that problem of I'm really way too long to be doing what I'm doing, but boy, I sure am charming. And I got this. I got all these English voice actors and actresses, and it sure does make the whole thing a whole lot more enjoyable.
And they have accents. And that's cute.
Yeah, they just kind of they go a long way toward making something more enjoyable. So yeah, Dragon Quest 11. It's it's still this. It's hey, you're surprise. You play as the Chosen One, a silent protagonist who's known as the Luminary, and you're gonna save the world and brighten the lives of everyone you meet along the way. And
hey, Polly, is he a man?
It's a man.
Okay.
It's me!
It's Rhett. It's literally Rhett, because I named my main character Rhett.
Look, you got Wandersong, I get this game.
Exactly. And it even kind of looks like you with your old haircut.
It kind of, yeah.
So,
that's what I was going to say. Like, oh, it's the Trunks hairstyle.
Yeah.
Probably doesn't get Dragon Ball references,
No,
though.
I don't. Minus 5 cool points for me.
I was going to say, when you think of Dragon Quest, what do you think of? I'm like, character designs by Akira Toriyama. It's basically it.
See, I recognize that. I know that, but it's not a
weird
connection I made.
These things just rendered super modern, high-res pixel.
But the thing is, like, the first thing that you just notice about this game, though, is that it's got an incredible look.
Yeah, it looks amazing, like, the way they've modeled those enemies and stuff in 3D.
Yeah, like,
but with that
Akira
really
Toriyama's work has never looked more just, like, full of like, it's one thing to see this game in screenshots. You have to see just the detailed animation work that goes into every little motion in this dumb game. It's just like they have, like, it feels like they have their Kingdom Hearts people on this or something, with as charming as it is.
Huh.
Like, and just like with the way like everything is just super fucking on point. It's like you can't look at this game and not be completely fucking charmed by it. I love everything about the way the game looks. It's incredible.
That counts for a lot, because the DS games are so pretty, and that was a lot for me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I keep wondering if this conversation's going to take a turn.
You think so? You think it's going to take a turn? You think I'm setting you up?
I think you're setting us up when you said, the older games were quick and fast. And you kind of went,
So this is the game. This is a long-term project game. So I know this game's long. I know this game is not Dragon Quest 7 long, which is literally like 140 hours.
But it's Trails of Cold Steel 3 long.
This is probably Trails of Cold Steel 3 long.
Oh boy.
Like I know that I've heard an hour count for this game by people that kind of rushed through it, and I was just like, okay. I'm not going to be able to play this non-stop for days on end. That said, like, I played it this morning, and I got to a point in the story where it's just like, oh shit, everything's happening now. It went bonkers, and now it's just like, okay, but now I guess I'll play it today and tomorrow too. Just to see if we're going to follow up on this big cataclysmic shit that went down that's just like, oh, you just basically changed this entire fucking... The whole shit done got switched up.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah, like, that surprised me. It took about 30 hours to get to that point. And they weren't the most fun or engaging 30 hours, unfortunately. This is a game that just, like... It's very fond of the episodic runaround where... We have one objective, and in order to complete this objective, we're going to get run around like 3 or 4 different areas before we can complete the one objective because there are 45 other obstacles in the way. It's very old school RPG in that way, where I need to fix the bridge, but I don't have the tools to do it because someone in the mine has them, but he disappeared and I don't know where he went. He said that he was going to the forest. When I went to find the guy, he didn't have the tools. He said a goblin stole them, so go find the goblin hideout. And it just got to be enough to at one point where I DM'd John and was like, I can't do this.
Oh no.
This is killing me as a person. This is literally rotting my insides out and making me want to die.
Brett, extra context is that I gifted her this for Christmas.
Yeah, she gets it. That's the funny part.
Well, then Polly said that, and then I kind of had to reveal that I gifted you a game that, like, I didn't even know if I really wanted to play it. So I kind of, like, you're kind of the test dummy here. I'm like,
But okay. But over the last 10 or so hours, though, the episodic stories have kind of started to get a bit more meat to them. They've had, like, there have been some genuine emotional moments where I was just like, oh, wow, the game finally actually made me feel something other than boredom.
Was it the Puff Puff moment?
No, it wasn't the Puff Puff moment. But I'm going out of my way. I'm going to find all the Puff Puff opportunities.
See, that's what
I mean, that's how I live my life.
Exactly.
See, that's what I hope from 7 and whatnot, is that it's because, like, 9 actually had it really honed in on, like, the little episodic stories that make you feel something at the end of them. Mm-hmm. So you, like, finish the little dungeon and it's like, oh, that was a nice little story. And so I think 7 is just like that for 100 hours.
Yeah.
I'm into that.
But then again, about 7 is a friend of mine told me he played it, and literally the first 7 hours of the game, he didn't fight a single random fight. Mm-hmm. It's like, Jesus Christ!
I think the 3DS remake tightens it up a lot and speeds it up.
That's probably good, because that game sounds utterly miserable to me.
Because How Long to Beat says like 100 hours for DQ7 PS1, and then like 65 for DQ7 3DS. Like it's a complete difference.
Yeah. So the story has started picking up, and it got to a point this morning where I was just literally like, oh man, okay, now the story's in go mode. Now things are happening, and it's, wow, we've dramatically altered the landscape of everything that this game was prior to this point. And it was a big...
It's almost not something you expect from a Dragon Quest
I wasn't
game,
expecting...
Yeah.
And I don't know if a Dragon Quest game has done what this game just did in the past. I don't know if it's just kind of like following that, you know, like these games follow a very specific route.
I mean, the thing with Dragon Quest for me is that they just feel very complete. Like, even when the stories are very simple, like threes or something,
right?
Like, if they'll introduce a thread and they will follow it through to its completion, and you'll feel like, yes, everything will feel complete and satisfying.
That's what this game is doing as well. It's just I got to a point in the story where shit went crazy in a way that I didn't predict would happen for this game. Mm-hmm. So it was just kind of like I was taken aback by the twist, and I was just like, oh wow, yeah, okay, now the game's playing for real.
Capcom destroys the world.
Yeah, basically.
You
think I'm joking, but
you die and reincarnate as a slime.
There you go. That would be the best possible outcome.
Oh my god.
There's some
isekai.
There's some really fun characters in this game too. I think that's something that both 8 and 11 have in common, is that like I like 8's cast a lot, and the cast in 11 doesn't quite live up to them yet, but they're kind of getting there. But they all kind of have their note so far. Like, you don't really feel like you're getting to know much about them. It's just the difference between this and Trails in the Sky is kind of like what I'm going back, what I was thinking about, and what I mentioned to John earlier this week, is that like in the Trails games, when you think about these characters, you can imagine them in your mind sitting down, and you can imagine any of these characters kind of sitting down and just having a conversation and shooting the bullshit about whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's so many interpersonal relationships, and they expound upon that. These characters interact a lot. Whereas Dragon Quest, everybody's just kind of yelling about the plot all the time. And I don't really feel like I'm learning or getting to know anything about anybody. And having a mute protagonist just isn't helping a lot. So it just kind of like the interactions that I feel, even in 8, like I felt that there was more of that. Like, whereas this game, everybody's just kind of there one night. Like, Sylvando is absolutely fabulous! And Veronica is, I'm little and I'm loud! So it's like, yeah, like, and their shticks are charming, they're cute. The actors and actresses are just knocking it out of the park with their representations, but I feel like, give me something a little more to cling on to with these characters. And I'm hoping that with like the changes that have just occurred, like we're going to start learning more about like what these characters are, and especially Sylvando. He's my favorite. He's a good boy. He is a very, very good boy. And yeah, so I'm hoping that kind of picks up a little bit. I know the combat is never... Pardon?
Does it open up at all? Like, I don't know how 8 is structured at all. Like, is there a point where you get the boat and then you can go do a bunch of things?
You get the boat real early. Yeah, you get the boat about 8 hours in.
Is it a linear track, or is it...
You can go to a lot of optional places and get your face blasted the fuck off.
All right, that's something.
But hey, there's good risk in doing that, because you can go find a whole bunch of fun shit that you probably don't, you shouldn't normally have access to, but if you're an intrepid explorer, go out of your way to find it, risk, getting your shit kicked in. Do it. Yeah. That's something this game
Dragon Quest has not evolved into waypoint.
No. Yeah. They will obviously tell you where you need to go, but you don't have to follow that path. Like once you get the boat, you can kind of just go everywhere.
Okay. That's really important. I heard linear at one point, and I kind of was like I'm happy with linear games. I like linear games, but like a big thing for me in Dragon Quest is when
Dragon Quest is exploring. It's a lot of exploring, and like even just like on the like the micro level of like go into a new town and literally search everywhere, because there are fucking items littered all over this game for you to find. Every map is just like a whole new frontier for you to go in, root through bookshelves, fucking look behind buildings and shit. Like I honestly like that part of the game. Like I was kind of surprised, and it took me like a few towns to realize, wait a minute, like this is still very old school. Like, oh, if I just go into this dude's house, there's 5 potions in the cabinet. Oh, okay, neat. I'll start doing that.
That's actually a thing in Trails in the Sky. Like if you go around poking at things, you very rarely like get much of a response there. Like when you're exploring towns, it's to talk to all the people.
Yeah, that's your kind of I think the good stuff that Trails is going to give you is character and interaction and dialogue. Whereas if you explore in a Dragon Quest game, you're going to get more items, you're going to find more cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think that's sort of like the fundamental... Yeah, like breaking all the pots. I love the way the character grabs the pots and just throws them down. He looks so disgusted when he does it, too. So that's why I always do it when someone's around, and I'm just always like, this is your fault. Smash! You could have stopped this. But yeah, like there are still a lot of things that just irk the fuck out of me about this game. Like, it's 2019, and there's no reason to have a UI that is this clunky and shitty. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, like I said, it takes 7 fucking text boxes to save my game. Oh. Are you for real? And like, okay, every character has their own individual item pack, right? And then you have a communal item pack. So every items don't stack in your character's inventory, but they do in the universal item pack. So when I have to move an item, such as a dumbass medical herb, from my character to the fucking to the communal item pool, I've got to go through 3 text boxes to do that. However, if I'm pulling items out of the communal item box, I can move them in stacks with 1 text box. character organization and shit in this game is a nightmare for me. I hate it so much.
See, that just doesn't sound very different from DS games, and I'm just like, okay, yeah.
Oh, it's so goddamn slow and annoying.
Can you trade items between characters?
Yes, but it's still just like, I don't need 3 text boxes to tell me I'm doing this.
Are you sure you want to trade these items?
Like, I don't need that. Somebody please fucking mod the game and hack that out, please. I'm tired of all the confirmations that this game needs from me.
Yeah.
It's okay, though.
So, I have a question.
Yeah.
Roughly when did the turn happen? Was it yesterday?
It was literally this morning.
So, if we had not delayed the episode...
If we had not delayed the episode, this would have been a very different segment last night.
So it's like you twisted twice, basically, because it was going to be, I fucking hate this game, basically, yesterday, and then it's like, now it's like, it's on the upswing, at least.
This game is
like,
on an upswing.
You see a glimmer of something interesting here, which is, I'm happy about.
Yeah, I'm
because you put a lot of time into it.
I'm genuinely back on board with this game now. Like, whereas for a while, I was really checked out because, like, everything about it was just so slow, it felt pointless to me. Like, it's like the combat system's not really all that interesting. It's just Dragon Quest combat, really. I mean, they just make it pretty, you know.
Okay,
they did that with 8. They did that with 8. So, you know, it's basically 8's combat system minus the psych up mechanic. That's it.
That was so the one thing that 8 brought in that was like different.
Yeah. They completely nixed it.
Which they copied for 9.
Yeah. And your character progression is like on these skill trees, and like I'm just not really jazzed about any of them. Like I go into the thing and I do it just because, you know, there's some stats and stuff in there I need, and there's some attacks.
Tree?
But
you should just learn their new things when they level up.
Well, see, they do.
Okay.
They learn stuff at levels, but there's also like the skill trees you can use for each weapon proficiency, and then there's usually 1 or 2 character specific things. Like
that's so much customization.
God. This sounds way too much modern for Dragon Quest.
I think this stuff could work, but it's just like, why do I really care that I'm spending 25 points to get a 3% chance at getting criticals? It's
that's
that
the
kind
worst
of
kind
progression.
Of skill tree is what I've heard. Skill trees should be a skill you're excited to purchase.
Yes,
not,
and like
not 3% crit rate.
Yeah, and it's just like, to get to the skills that I want, I need to level.
You gotta buy a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah, I gotta buy a bunch of crap that I don't want or care about.
That's like the PSO2 skill trees of just like, here's like the 10 skills you don't want before the one you want.
And then there's the crafting system, which is literally like,
I
find a recipe.
Just going to joke. The next thing I was saying,
find
this is
a recipe.
Game.
Find the recipe for items, and surprise, surprise, you don't have the materials to make them. Fucking ever. Nor are they on sale anywhere. Your only choice is to grind for them, and item drops in this game are abysmal.
Well, did you get the skill that gives you 50% item drop rate?
I don't even think there is.
You mean 3%?
But it's like, so you finally get everything to make the item you want. You go, you whip out the portable forge to make the item, and it's just like, oh, well, I was better than what this would have given me 2 hours ago. Fantastic. This is a waste of my fucking time. The only thing the item forge is good for is just adding a +1, 2, or 3 to an item, and that's it. Mm-hmm. Trying to actually create new equipment. The only reason you have to create new equipment is that to upgrade equipment, you need to get I think they're called like perfection stones or something. And you get a certain amount for every new item you create, and those are what you use to add the +1, +2, or +3 to a weapon or a piece of armor or accessory. So it's just like, it feels so goddamn pointless of a system, because everything's either outdated to the point to where, why would I make this? It's a complete waste. It just adds more shit to my goddamn item management that I don't want to fuck with. Or
because you're leveling your crafting skill, dog.
You level your crafting skill by just leveling up.
Oh.
You just learn new crafting abilities as you level up. That's
But then by making the item, you get the skill point to spend on the item you actually give a shit about.
Yeah, like, the whole system just feels like nobody balanced it in a way where it's like Ys 8 has a crafting system, and it's always on par with where you are. You will always be able to either quickly find the things you need, buy the things you need, or you already have them, and that the item that you are making will probably be good enough to get you to warrant you spending the resources. Whereas I've not once crafted anything in this game for the purpose of having it now. I've done it for the purpose of just having those stones that you can use to add a +1, 2, or 3 to an item. So, yeah, crafting is junk in this game. Until I've proven otherwise, I'm just not fucking with it anymore.
That's a good plan.
Yeah.
That's how I've kind of felt about the crafting in Ys 7, is that if you just get past the next part, there'll be a new store with a new item, and then the crafting is always a mid-range upgrade.
Yeah, so with Ys 8, though, like, there's no money.
Sounds like they fixed that. And there's no money.
Yeah, and like Jetstorm says, like, this is something that I'll probably only use at the end of the game, because everything else is so minor and incremental that it's just that you can't notice it during a fight at all. Like, if I craft a new sword and it gives me +10 to my attack power, the numbers are small in Dragon Quest games. So, like, oh wow, I'm doing what, 1 or 2 more damage, and I can barely notice it. Since it's still rolling a dice to determine this number anyway. So it's just if you're not having trouble, like, don't bother. If you really need. Yeah. I'm just buying because I'm fucking loaded now. I got lots of manis. Lots of manis.
They're called manis.
I call them manis. That's what I call them.
Okay.
But yeah, like I'm gonna continue with this game. It's gonna be like the bigger game I'm playing alongside maybe smaller games, because I feel like too much of this game at one time, and I feel like I'll start to get real frayed with knowing how long it is and knowing its structure. Having heard other people already talk about kind of like how long it is and a couple other things. So yeah, like I've got a couple other games I'm hoping to play alongside this now to kind of break up the monotony a bit. But thankfully the game hit its curve this morning, and I'm kind of...
That's so funny.
I'm jazzed to kind of get back to it once, get the podcast edited. I'll probably spend the evening doing a couple more hours of progression and see how all that goes. So yeah, charming. Absolutely charming, but it's old school to a fault, and if that kind of thing annoys you, like, this game's going to be a problem. Does Rhett use a sword and a shield or a two-handed sword? He uses a two-handed sword because he loves his Zweihander.
Zweihander.
No, you called it the Zweihander for an entire Let's Play.
I know.
Give Rhett the
that's the
sword
reason
so he can join the group.
That's the reason I'm using the two-handed sword, is because Rhett used the Zweihander so much in Dark Souls. I thought
that's really cute.
That'd be fun. And I like those skills a lot more. Hey, and you can respec too, which is good. You get all your skill points back and respec, and it doesn't even cost that much.
Cool.
So that's really smart. Because given that it's a Dragon Quest game, I thought, boy, this thing's going to have some real outdated mechanics, like me being able to build my characters entirely wrong. Nope. And characters that aren't in battle get full experience.
Oh, damn.
Holy shit!
Okay.
I was really dreading that. Like, as soon as I got a party that was more than 4, I was like, well, this is...
I have that moment with every RPG.
This is like do or die time. God. Are these the 4 characters that I'm willing to commit to for my hashtag in-game party?
What you need is a game with a fucking exponential EXP curve.
You can actually change your lineup in battle, too, which is another thing that like, what? That's a Dragon Quest thing? You could do that now? I
stole it from Labyrinth of Touhou.
Exactly. Every game did. So yeah, Dragon Quest 11. Color me intrigued, but it took 30 hours.
So what you're saying is it takes 30 hours to get good.
I still like...
It's very pretty,
I'm not gonna put it like
Once
that.
you reach Grand Stream, it opens up.
I'm not gonna put it like that because I think it's a shitty way to put things.
It's a shitty way to put things.
But because I mean, obviously, I'm not gonna play a game if I'm straight up not enjoying it for 30 hours. There's something there that was still holding me, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there are still minor incidental things that I still enjoyed about this experience. But I don't think that it starts getting notable until around the 30-hour mark. Yeah. That's when I feel it's like it's started to do something where it's like, okay, now you've got my undivided attention.
I mean, you said that about Trails in the Sky first chapter as well as, like, I think you said chapter 3?
Yeah,
maybe
chapter
2.
The end of chapter 2, if you're not checked in by the end of chapter 2,
yeah,
that series is probably not going to do anything for you.
It starts to pick up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because you get Chloe.
Yes. She's very good.
She is very good.
She's very good.
How many Dragon Quest XI characters are as good as Chloe?
None.
None. Thank you.
Okay.
Literally none.
Well, how about how many Dragon Quest XI characters are as good as Olivier?
None.
None.
Oh.
Sylvando
Joshua?
could come close if there's something about his character that really pulls it around. Sylvando could be on the level of Olivier because he's very Olivier-like.
Excellent.
He's
a quote.
He's a
quote
jester
my friend
type.
Wuzzy from December of last year. Well, John, not everything's going to be as smart and crafted as like Trails in the Sky.
Yeah, no one is as good as
light.
Olivier. I think Sylvando may be able to give him a run for his money if he picks up a little bit.
Cool.
John,
Yeah,
you got an anime.
I do. Apparently, I'm also going to be having Frog Adventure shown at an art gallery.
What?
What?
Yeah, that just happened this morning.
How the
called-
what? Wait. You gotta explain this. You don't just gloss over this. You have to explain it.
It's called Baby Castles. It's a non-profit art gallery. So it's not a paid thing or anything, but it's just like, hey, we have a bunch of arcade cabinets. We put games up here for like 2 months at a time. Can we do Frog Adventure? And I was like, sure, that sounds good to me.
Dog, you need to get them to take pictures and shit.
That's what I told him. I was like, hey, make a link to my itch somewhere. And he was like, of course. And then I said, and snap some pics for me. Preferably a video or two.
That's really fucking cool, dude. Congrats.
Yeah, and I also have a couple friends who are familiar with the art gallery. I kind of checked in with them and was like, hey, this is legit, right? And they were like, yeah, this is legit. They're cool. So that made me feel good.
That's baller as fuck.
Yeah. It's fucking Frog Adventure too. It's just like, yep, that's never leave the shadow of Frog Adventure.
By the way, I'm still the world record holder, in case anybody wants to challenge.
And it's Rhett's favorite John game.
You just said the word Frog Adventure 2, T-O-O, but I thought you said T-W-O, and I got real excited.
Yep, because that's the favorite. That's Brett's favorite.
The favorite, right?
Yeah.
It's very good.
That's
I'm happy
pretty
about
awesome, though, dude. Congrats.
Yeah, I feel happy about that.
So you said this was like a museum for kids or something?
No, it's just called Baby Castles. I think it's
just
yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking, wait a minute, what's this for?
Yeah, so I'm gonna so I'm just gonna keep up on that, and then once I get pics or whatnot, I'm sure I'll share and brag and be happy.
Absolutely, that's fucking fantastic.
Yeah, that feels nice. I watched an anime.
What did you watch?
Oh boy.
Oh god, I've got a great joke where I'll say the preface and then I'll like go ... and then I watched Gun Gale Online. It's very good.
All right.
Wait, what's the full title?
It's called Sword Art Online Alternative: Gun Gale Online. Isn't that such a great joke? Because it's like the bad show.
Okay.
But this one's good. Sorry. I was annoyed at myself for thinking about how funny that would be like 2 weeks ago, and I'm just like, ugh.
So what? Okay. Let me get into the mindset of a John Thayer for a moment.
Okay.
If I may be permitted.
The mindset of a John Thayer coming out of the last podcast, which was pretty taxing in some ways.
Yeah. See, John Thayer. Last I talked to John Thayer, really was just all kinds of bad in relation to any and all things Sword Art Online. So
it was Type Moon, actually.
I was feeling real bad about that too.
Well, that too. Yeah, we addressed some things.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. I'll look at my Twitter feed and
I addressed them with my therapist too.
and John's all, watching Sword Art Online thing. Help me piece that together. How does that work? How do you go from, man, look at this pile of garbage that I indulged in and got nothing out of, to going, let's watch more. Let's watch something more from that pile of garbage.
Except sad friends and like a bunch of damage to discuss.
Yeah.
So I come out of a podcast where I'm fucking not unintentionally like doing therapy in public. And about my weird fucking issues.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, this looks fun though. About the Sword Art Online thing. So the only reason that I was comfy checking that out, Taylor said it was cool. And I trust Taylor's judgment.
Despises SAO.
Taylor despises SAO. Taylor has a good judgment sense on stuff being very evil also. And I didn't want to do anything else that was really evil for a while. Because I felt really bad.
Understandably so.
And so, but this is by a completely different author, completely different characters, different setting from the first show. It's by the author of Kino's Journey, which I did not remember being like offensive in any way.
No, Kino's Journey is very wholesome.
Yes, I remembered it being maybe a little bit boring, but not offensive. Yeah. Being very like a warm and interesting. It's a prestige show.
Yes.
And then that person wrote a Sword Art Online spinoff.
And that I didn't know that about this, and that kind of floors me.
Yep. So it's real fucking good. Sort of was my takeaway. I think the big thing is that I had to kind of realize this is I think it's a comedy. I think it's supposed to be very funny, while also having like a lot of really cool action. It takes place in a gun world. Mm-hmm. It's basically PUBG is the game.
It really is.
You're watching an anime that's just PUBG, which is great, because I watched like 15 hours of PUBG streams. I was really into it for a little while.
Wow.
Oh.
I didn't know that.
When you told me that, I thought you were joking, saying the anime is like watching PUBG, but no, you actually watched some real stuff.
I watched a shit ton of PUBG streams. I watched like all the Polygon PUBG streams for a while. Like, I was really into it. And then I watched this, and it's like, this is like that, but more. They animated up, but it's the same thing. Like when they're down in it in the PUBG, it's just like they all drop down on the map, and then they see there's like a scanner that comes every 10 minutes and shows you where the leaders of the other players are, so everyone has to keep moving if they don't want to reveal their location, or they hold up in a really safe location. Everyone's got special guns, grenades, everybody has different weapons, and then and then they just go into like a series of tactical they start with their weapons instead of finding them. So it's different from PUBG in that sense.
Well, I mean, the big difference is this makes me realize how broken the rules in it are, or PUBG makes me realize how broken the rules in this are, because they can just camp wherever they want forever. Whereas in PUBG, you have the circle that closes and forces you to keep moving.
Yeah, but they do some stuff with that. They actually have people camping very pointedly, and then they resolve that in interesting ways. That's a major part of the play. So the action's just like really good and grounded, and it doesn't fucking cheat all the time like Sword Art Online does.
How can she run so fast?
She just has high agility. I knew that. That's like the one thing that is a little bit like dicey, and it's just she spawned a character with really high agility. That's it.
Why are the characters random spawn?
And they just get that. I assume that you only get one character, and that's what you're stuck with in the game. I assume that's the rule. So
the whole this whole setup is so weird, where she's like spawning random characters in games, trying to get one that's short and cute.
Oh my god!
There's no character creator.
But that's the thing. It's like, are all these games made by this one monolithic Sword Art Online corporation, and literally none of them have a character creator?
They're not from the Sword Art Online. They spawn from the seed of Sword Art Online that was passed to Kirito at the end of the first season, that he released into the internet, and then everyone made their own open source
Okay, so
builds off of the Sword Art Online seed. So everything is building off of the same fundamental engine, but they're all putting their own spins on it.
Okay, see, I was joking, but there actually is an explanation that they all spawned from it, an open source version. Why has no one made a character creator yet? Do you know how popular those things are? Anyways, okay.
So that's a thing. And the main character's thing is that she's very tall in real life, and she feels self-conscious about it. So she wants to play a VR game where she can be someone really short and cute. And she's like a college student also, instead of being a high schooler, which I thought was nice.
That's
sort
refreshing.
of rare in anime.
And she's 6 feet tall.
Yeah, she's 6 feet tall. So it's like, it's a big thing for her.
So she's an automatic babe.
Yes, definitely, absolutely. But she finds her character that's really short, and it's in so she goes around all these games and then just happens to land in Gun Gale Online, and it's like, well, I'm cute in this one. I'm gonna learn how to play it. How far are you into it? Are you at?
I'm like on 6 or 7.
Okay, so they haven't gotten into the second.
They're about to start at Basic.
Cool, and then that's the rest of the show. It's very good.
Yeah.
So
can I say there was a point in this show that made me really uncomfortable?
Go for it.
And then how do I say this? The show made me feel some real weird, uncomfortable feelings because basically the main character gets doxxed immediately.
Oh, good.
Like, yeah, she's playing this VR game, and then 2 characters approach her in the real world, like, "Hey, what's up?" And I was like, "That's not cool. Does everyone in the city play this game?" Like, it's kind of weird where the whole premise is this VR game, and then like all of the main characters are super local to each other.
Yeah,
I get that.
That's kind of weird. But then
Go ahead.
The second person to approach her is also like, "Hey, if we don't lose this tournament, I'm going to be murdered," and that's also kind of uncomfortable. Where apparently someone is planning a murder-suicide based on the results of this tournament.
Yeah, because she was really into the idea of the death game from the first show, and was really mad that she didn't get to be a part of it, so she wants to recreate her own death game for herself and her
by killing
partner.
herself intentionally. And it's just,
if she loses,
I was really kind of squicked out by that part. I just wanted to say. So, I stopped watching the episode, and then I came back a few hours later, and they immediately, start making light of it, and it becomes a comedy again. I'm like, okay, I'm just not going to take this fucking seriously, because the show isn't.
Yeah.
That's my advice.
They introduce something super fucking dark, and then just kind of walk it back immediately.
Yeah, it's a I think that's the way to deal with it, is they don't go real hard on the stakes of that.
Yeah, but they don't, then why introduce it?
I think it's really. I think they do a clever thing with it thematically at the end. I think if you take that out, then the story, there's no real meat to it. They do a cute thing that actually connected with me pretty deeply.
My other big complaint is, why are they entering a two-person team in PUBG? They'd get fucking slaughtered.
Not when you're really fast.
Very fast.
No, they don't. That's the one thing of okay, she's just really fast. We'll accept that, and then beyond that, they tend to play it real straight in a way that I appreciated. Rhett, also keep in mind, I watched Sword Art Online. I watched the first show, so in comparison.
See, I don't have that comparison, so I'm just judging this on its own merits.
I was so worried. I was worried about that. Am I just blinded because I watched the first show and this is so much better? And one more thing I want to say is that it's actually really violent, because it's all guns, all regular normal weapons. So if it wasn't a VR game where people vanish bloodlessly, then it would be really violent, especially later on. So that's just something to kind of keep in mind if you're sensitive about gun violence stuff.
See, I wasn't sensitive towards that at all. It's when they started introducing the possibility of real world stuff that I'm like, But yeah, because there's a scene where she's 4 feet tall in the game or something. She's fucking tiny, and she just walks up on top of a guy, points down at his head, and goes sorry, and fucking dumps into him with the P90 for 10 seconds.
There were some beats by the end that are just so outrageous, and it made me so happy. She and the way they talk too is just I'm gonna murder you. I'm gonna kill you. Don't worry, I'm gonna kill you. Just like they use the language of the game, like very casually.
There was a line earlier I almost screamed cat of like, "I'm going to kill her and then I'm going to save her," and I'm like, "Fuck off."
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. That's how it goes down. Yeah, I like that show a lot. I bought the light novel.
This game is so... everything about this, though, is like not how actual modern video games exist, though.
Yeah!
Where, like, one, the fact that they're having a battle royale and like anybody can just sign up because there are apparently so few entrants. Like, huh? Like,
Rat, they specifically have a qualifying battle royale.
The first one, though, as well. Like, she's just like decides to sign up like the Saturday before or something.
Okay.
Because, like, when you think of how many like thousands of PUBG games are happening, or Fortnite, whatever, at any moment, the fact that there's one squad jam is kind of silly. And the other thing that's super, super unrealistic is when her friend is like, "Yeah, there's not many girls in this game. I get hit on all the time. I have a sugar daddy."
I think they justify the size by the fact that the conceit that like this is a thing that's been spread over the internet and everybody has their own little version of it. So not all of the versions are as big as like something that might have, more popularity. Like this is a smaller localized thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Also, there's the part where in this universe of VR game, Sword Art Online killed like 20,000 people. So maybe people are a little gun shy now.
Gun shy! Ha ha! I get it.
Like, you think if something like that happened in real world, like, it'd be shut down forever. Like, VR doesn't exist anymore, guys.
That's the whole point of the back half of the first show, is that it's like, okay, how do we reintroduce this? And also the like conceit of the end of Sword Art Online is actually, though, VR is great. This is wonderful. This is such a good thing, isn't it? We've had 2 separate seasons where people will die by having their brain melted if they die in the game. But it's actually so great, and we should keep playing them forever. So
I would probably still keep playing video games.
Probably you don't play VR now.
No.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to say about this show?
Nope, I like it. I'm interested in your reactions to the whatnot.
Okay.
It's a little bit gay. It's a little gay, which is pretty fun.
You teased me with the Yuri, and then it's like, oh, is this going to be actual real-world violent? That's not cool, but this show is not taking itself seriously, so...
No. The violence also just made me laugh a lot. Like, the action is very fun. Yeah. It's like intense and like exciting, but also very funny with how inventive it is, I think. So I like it a lot. Brett.
Oh right, I have to do another thing.
Yeah. Oh man, not to twist your arm.
Yeah. I just literally forgot because we've been going for a while. I've been watching another very stupid anime.
Oh no.
It is called Middle Manager Tonagawa.
Oh, okay. Never heard of this one.
I forgot. I have to do a little research real quick right now. This is because this is a spin-off of an anime from a while ago called Kaiji. Okay.
Oh, I've heard that one.
So I had to look up how old Kaiji is because that makes this way funnier. The first season of Kaiji aired October 2007 to April 3rd, 2008.
Right.
This is a prequel being released 10 years later.
Yeah.
Because it just finished airing.
That's crazy.
It's crazy because it is based on a character from the first season. It is a comedy, whereas Kaiji was like a serious death game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it is like, it's about the management behind the games, like setting up all the bullshit that they go through.
Oh wow.
And it's insanely stupid. But it's like it knows it's a comedy, obviously, but it's a very like dry kind of absurdist comedy. Mm-hmm. It's such a weird thing that exists. I just wanted to mention it real quickly.
Yeah, I've heard people talking about that on my timeline, so I knew that was.
I had no idea. I had no idea. So apparently, there's another spin-off now based on a character from Kaiji season 2.
What?
It's just like, why? Why are these things?
You think this is just like a hugely popular manga or something?
Well, Kaiji is from the author of Akagi, which is the Mahjong one, which was, I think, really popular.
Yeah.
But, like, 10 years.
Didn't they wait 10 years to do a follow-up to Moyashimon?
And a bunch of years for a follow-up to Mushishi, and about 15 years to follow up on Kino's journey.
Yeah, like we're seeing a lot of weird stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's a really funny thing about Kino's journey is that the one you watched, Polly, and I watched was adapted from like 4 light novels worth of material. Mm-hmm. There are 21 light novels now.
Good
Holy
Lord.
shit.
There is so much Kino's journey in the world.
Kino, you've been busy.
Yep. Busy writing Kino's journey and apparently Gun Gale Online.
That's wild. I just looked up Kaiji Season 2 was aired in 2011, so it's still been a while to randomly have a comedy spinoff like 8 full years later.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And just the very fact that it's a comedy spinoff is just so bonkers when you consider like how deadly serious the original source material was.
Because that's kind of what's so weird about this series is like when they're kind of making light of everything, it's like it's a very dark humor because it's like this goes
what's
real
happening.
Bad. How this goes real bad later on.
I think there's some genius in writing something that way.
Yeah.
I can see that.
And the show isn't really about it, but it also makes you kind of think like how obscene, like plans and setups and like all the work they'd have to actually go through to do like, oh, somebody's got to rent the cruise ship. Oh, what about the design on these cards? Who's going to draw that? Like all the minutia that they are dealing with to set the game up, basically. Mm. It's just kind of funny seeing that. Because then, like, so in Kaiji, they have these cards that have rock, paper, scissors symbols on them. And then when you use a card, you have to discard it. So they drop it in the table, and there's a scoreboard that will reduce that card from the total number in play. And so the guys in the show, they just order a regular table with a hole in it. So he's like, well, wait, what the fuck? It doesn't move the scoreboard. And they're just like, we could have somebody sit inside the table and hit a button. And then they actually do that. So now, if you go back and watch the original Kaiji, you're going to be thinking, are there just dudes sitting inside all
those? There's just a dude in there! That's kind of incredible.
It's really weird.
I really admire that.
There's another joke, too, where, like, all his henchmen look the same. So he really... this is, like, the whole first episode. It's like he can't remember their names because they all look the same. Mm-hmm. And then a couple of episodes later, they all get a haircut and they all shave their heads to look even more the same. So he, like, starts freaking out at them and yelling. And then he goes, it's like I'm in the damn Matrix.
Oh, my God.
And it shows, like, the Agent Smith fight for a second. And then all of them are like, what's that? And he's like, watch the damn Matrix! And the last shot is just them in a movie theater, and they're all going, ooh! Like,
this honestly sounds like a fucking riot.
It's not that funny, but it has moments. Like,
right.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
It's half amazing that it exists, though.
Yeah, like I said, like this isn't like what I would have expected if you had told me there was going to be a Kaiji spinoff.
I think people were fucking pissed when this got announced instead of like a proper third season.
Right.
And then there's another spinoff apparently, and still no season 3 in sight. They kind of have to at this point, right?
If you would think so.
You'd think so. But season 2 ended pretty well, so I don't know. I know there is more in the manga, but it like ended at a good point.
A good stopping point for a show, anyway.
God. Yeah. So I have one more thing I'll do relatively quickly.
Sure.
I've just been playing the fucking hell out of a game called Subnautica over the last few days. Because we had the long Memorial Day weekend, and I was just like, okay, I finished Trails in the Sky right before it.
Time to just like spend this 3 days living it in this one thing.
Time to just binge on something like completely fucking different.
Right.
So Subnautica is a survival game, but I turned the survival stuff off really quickly, basically. Because I played about an hour, and you get pretty much dumped into it. It's very No Man's Sky-ish. Mm-hmm. So this game, you're on a big passenger, or I guess it's an alien. Yeah, I'm having trouble with my words right now. I'm sorry. You're on this big industrial spaceship, and it crashes. Mm-hmm. And you get into your escape pod, and you wake up, you get out, and you look around, and the only thing you see is the ocean all around you.
Oh, no.
And the remains of that huge ship you were just on.
Right.
So this is a game where you scavenge through the water. It's underwater No Man's Sky, basically. Mm. So the problem I had with the first hour is that the game is immediately like, you're hungry, find some food. You're thirsty, find some water.
You're in the fucking ocean!
But there's a whole process of like desalinating the water, and I'm just like,
just open your mouth, just drink your surroundings. Literally,
you know that's not how it works.
Drink it in, baby.
That's what I wish you could do.
Just open your mouth.
Just drown.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm very parched from all the salt water I'm drinking. But it's basically just
nobody would ever know if you pissed yourself if you lived underwater.
Uh-huh.
Just saying that for those people out there that like to piss themselves.
I mean, there's a lot of water.
I mean, that is the primary appeal of going, like, tubing. Have y'all ever gone tubing down, like, a river in Florida or Georgia or whatnot? That's the appeal, is that you can just pee on yourself the whole time. I'm pretty sure this is a Ron White sketch, but I'm also speaking from experience here. Just so y'all know. I'm not just riffing on the Blue Collar Comedy Corps sketch.
So you know, okay. John pees himself.
That everyone pees themselves. It's a blast. It feels great. You're just sitting there.
You can just have a shower and do it in there. It's kind of the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, Eric even evolved that concept.
No.
Eric evolved that concept with the shower dump.
Oh no! That's not a good thing.
That's not.
I don't think Eric actually dumps in the shower, but it is really funny every time you bring it up, though.
That's very good joke. That's good joke.
It is very good joke.
Very good joke.
Good joke.
Good joke.
Good joke. Zoom.
Okay, can I talk about this game now?
Yes!
We'll permit it.
Okay, so the first hour was like me being like, you're hungry. Oops, you died. And then when you die, you just wake up hungry again, but with some of your items gone. And I'm like, this is bad. I don't like survival games.
That sounds stupid.
So there's a couple difficulty levels. One of them is permadeath, which is like everything on.
Right.
The next one is survival, which it like shows you, hey, you will have to manage 4 meters, like your health, your hunger, your water, your thirstiness, or something else. And then there's one below that called freedom, which is just like, hey, you got to manage your health. And that's no hunger or thirst. Much more easy to deal with. Because, like, getting started out, this game's kind of difficult because it doesn't really explain itself very well.
That's the case with most survival games, really.
Yeah. So, like, when you start adding immediate have to deal with these timers at the very start, kind of sucks. Because, like, they don't even start you with any rations on the ship. Or, like, you have to build the repair tool to open the thing that has the rations in it, I think.
Oh, my God.
So yeah, you're in it immediately, and I understand that kind of cool, like, immediacy. But
there's an immediacy there that they're trying to invoke, and that feels cool.
Mm-hmm. Especially when you have the permadeath on, like that extra makes sense.
That would be a very scary mode. I can't imagine that. But I just didn't want to deal with the hunger and thirst because. This is a game about diving underwater and then having to make sure you've got an exit strategy, basically.
Yeah.
So, like, there's already a lot of timers in it because at the start of the game, you can only dive underwater for, like, 30 seconds. So it's just like, okay, I'm going to go under and grab some stuff and then, whoop, got to go back up. Like, right now, though, my timer is, like, 2.5 minutes because you've got, ultra premium oxygen tank. So you can just go for a while, but then you start navigating like these huge cave systems. It's like, okay, you've got 30 seconds, buddy. Are you going to be able... Oh, you drowned.
Well, poop.
Yeah. It's like... So what's interesting about this game, I think, compared to other survival games, and I'm mostly speaking theoretically, so my main comparison to this is No Man's Sky, because that is essentially a survival game.
Mm-hmm.
This game is not actually randomly generated, though.
No, this is handcrafted.
Yeah, it's handcrafted. The map is the map.
Yeah.
So this allows them to do is have very meaningful points of interest,
mm-hmm.
because everything, presumably, like I'm sure, they use some random generation to get it seeded to start, but then kind of hand place a lot of the interesting stuff.
Yeah.
So like the fact that you can be like, hey, the cool thing is the cool thing that's over there, like kind of like Zelda basically, where you have a very crafted world, whereas No Man's Sky is it's literally just random stuff everywhere.
Yeah.
So there's no real sense of progression. So I'm, again, really binged this over the weekend. I'm like 20 hours in. Feel like I'm starting to get towards the end game.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think I kind of just stumbled into one of the end game areas. Because at the start of the game, it's like swimming 100 meters deep is like, wow, I'm so far down. Oh, got to go back up. So then you get like a little submersible thing that you can go around in, and it has its own air supply, and you build a base so you can hang out underwater and not have to worry about drowning constantly. And then you get like a mech suit that can walk around underwater. That's awesome.
Oh wow.
And then finally you just build this huge fucking submarine
mm-hmm.
that can go like 900 meters deep to start. So it's like you are traveling vertically down for a long time. And
that's really cool.
It's like what I think is really neat about the three vehicles is that they all feel meaningfully different from each other. Like the little submersible, like I'm not sure what you call it, kind of a hang glider thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's very small and nimble, but then if you want to grab something, you have to get out. And then the mech suit, it's very slow and plodding, but again, it's very strong and it has hands. So if you want to grab something, you can just do it and put it into the mech's inventory. So that's nice. And then the submarine is just like, it's a portable base because this thing is fucking huge, and then it can't navigate through some of the tighter caves. So, and the other two mechs can dock with it.
Mm-hmm.
So like you're like going down in the submarine, and it's like, okay, I'm far enough down and gotta jump out and get into the other submersible to keep going. Then I had a problem where the mech like fell off a cliff, and I'm like, how the fuck do I get back up? Because it can jump like 100 meters up, but that'll only get you so far.
Yeah.
So it's like,
so what's the solution?
It's still down there. I just
built
another base. Well, that's still the area I want to be exploring, like 800 meters deep. So I'm like, again, this game's a lot.
Yeah, like this game sounds really overwhelming.
Yeah. One problem I had early on is that I kind of wanted to build a base everywhere so that I stopped having to travel around as much.
Mm-hmm.
And then I ended up traveling around a lot, just trying to build all the bases. And it's just like, I'm just going to focus. Because then once I got the submarine, I'm like, oh, this was all meaningless. This is a portable base now.
Fuck!
So you just build the one base, really. And then when you get the submarine, it's like, okay, now you can take the majority of all your shit with you wherever you go.
That's real good.
But yeah, it's cool that the gameplay loop kind of feels like it's changing over time, which is nice. Because early on, it's a lot of scavenging and like getting blueprints or then getting materials. Whereas now, like the submarine feels like it's such a game changer. And like again, only got that a couple hours ago before doing the podcast. So
nice.
Again, yeah. So it's like I got kind of bottlenecked earlier. Because, there's only a couple places in the game where you can learn to build a base because of how crafting works, where you have to scan something that's broken in order to figure out how to make a working one.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to find an abandoned base in order to build your own base.
Right.
And there's only, 3 in the game.
Oh.
So the game has a way of breadcrumbing you towards certain locations by having random distress messages pop up to you.
Mm-hmm.
But I got those a little later than I would have liked.
Oh.
And the worst part is that, so I finally just looked online. It's like, where do I get this? And it's like, go this way. And I'm like, thank you. Because the map is the map. So it's like, okay, it's over there.
Nice.
The worst part is that I had found a place where I wanted to build a base because it was about 100 meters deep. So in the early game, that seems huge.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also a crevice, kind of a Grand Canyon-ish looking at thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, ooh, I want to go down there. but I can't yet because it's such a
Doesn't
it's
go
like
deep enough.
Yeah.
it's like 300 meters deep. I could not get down there and do anything meaningful before drowning. Basically, you know what ended up being down there?
What was down there?
One of the abandoned bases I needed to find.
Son of a bitch!
It was right there. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So I built a base right above it and then go down there and I'm like, oh, and like the irony was lost on me until like a couple hours ago and I'm like, oh, it was right there the whole time.
That's so like this is a storytelling game.
Oh, it definitely is.
Like,
yeah.
I'm not sure this is something I would play myself.
It's very slow to start, especially.
But like, this definitely sounds way more interesting than, like, I've heard other people kind of try and explain it. Because, I guess mostly because they've painted it mostly for the survival elements of scavenging for food and shit. But it sounds like it's actually, like, it takes on a different kind of, like, tone when you kind of take that timer out of it.
For me right now, it almost feels kind of like Metroid-ish in that I'm trying to get as deep as I can to see what the hell is down there. Because the area I'm in now is like, I'm at about 900 meters deep, and it's like the way the world is structured is really interesting. The way like, oh, I'm like below this whole other area now because I'm just in this giant underground cavern.
Right.
And then like, I kept thinking like, well, this will have to be the end, right? And then I come to a cliff and just look straight down. I'm like, well, what the hell is that?
That like the moments of discovery like that sound absolutely incredible.
And like all my vehicles right now are capped at like, because there's a thing in actual underwater exploration called crush depth, where like the pressure gets so immense that you can't go any further.
Yeah.
So all my things right now are capped at like 900. And I'm like right at that limit. I'm like at 860, and I look down this cliff. I go, how the hell? So I'm like, I have to record this point now and remember to come back here later when I've got some more upgrades. Because you get a message early on that kind of mentions like there's a thing at 800 and there's a thing at 1200, and that's how kind of the end game. Mm-hmm. So it's like, well, I think I might see it down there, but yeah, it's. See, I was more interested in this because it's an exploration thing more than the survivals part, and it's definitely paying off on that aspect.
The thing that I like is that it's handcrafted, and that like
and that is such a huge thing. Like
there's something that like randomness can't give you about the experience of something that's been crafted for you already. Like it's the same way like when I think about like Persona 3 and 4 dungeon design versus Persona 5 dungeon design, where the designs are so much smarter and far more engaging. So it's like that kind of experience just kind of speaks to me a little more, especially in this kind of setting, seeing as these games are always just randomly generated.
Yeah, that's sort of like how Overwhelm really wowed me, because it felt like the kind of game that could easily be random, but instead all the levels are handcrafted, and that just counted for a lot. Yeah.
So like there's a ton of different biomes in this and like different areas of the map, but again, because it's all not random, like you really do start to learn the map and like which way to go. And the wildest thing though is that because you start at the top, because it's an underwater game, like suddenly like these treks from like one corner of the map to the other that seemed so safe when you were just doing it on the surface, now just realizing like how deep the ocean goes below you, like it actually gets a little scarier. Because I'm just like, oh, I'm like 800 feet up over fucking hellscape right now, but hey, that stuff's not going to come up here and eat me.
That's really awesome.
Yeah. Cool. And I wonder how deep it goes.
I have a feeling we'll be hearing some more fun stories about this game going forward. Because I think that this is one that sounds like it's definitely got its claws in you in a way that's... The base thing like really started to almost put me off it because I didn't really understand how learning new blueprints worked, so I kind of got stuck for a bit. Like but then once I figured out how blueprints worked, I like got as many as I could by scavenging ruins, but I still couldn't build a base. So I think I had the blueprints for the submarine like before like almost anything else. Oh wow!
I did this in a weird order. It feels like I kind of skipped over the mid game to go right to the late game once I got that thing built. But because I built the mech suit. It's like, okay, I can walk around, but I've already got the submersible. Like, what do I need this for? And then I got the submarine. It's like, oh, okay, this can carry the mech suit over to the real deep shit.
Everything kind of keeps feeding into everything else in a real satisfying way.
Yeah. And I will say there is a lot of like, oh, I need like 10 copper, let me go fucking grind a bit.
Yeah, you're gonna have that, I think. You can't really avoid that.
But yeah, it's really interesting.
That's really cool.
And just, I love exploring games, and like the fact that this is like underwater alien hellscape is also very good.
It's very good, and
it's
nice.
It's
a
kind
nice
of
cover.
It's like a blown out version of Meridia.
Yeah, it really is. I should try playing this with headphones at like 1 a.m. and just going into new areas and probably really creep myself out.
Just completely immerse yourself in that experience. Yeah, like I would totally try that.
There's some underwater shit in this game. Like, I'm starting to get into significantly more hostile territories. I saw a new message like right before recording where it's like it just flashes this huge thing up, like submarine under attack, because there was like this fucking enormous squid was like not having any of my shit.
Oh no! Somebody get Chelsea over here. She'll keep it occupied.
It was like shooting EMP blasts, so like every couple seconds the whole thing would shut down.
That's what squids do.
Yeah, it's alien. A couple times I've come back to my base and like the hull fractured, so the whole thing was flooded.
Oh no!
So like the repair tool is kind of magic; it'll just automatically.
Yeah, it's just kind of like
repair.
the Omni tool in Mass
But then you have to
Effect.
wait like 30 seconds for it to deflood, and that's interesting.
Oh, that's crazy.
So there are cool systems in this. It's much more like. So the problem with No Man's Sky, No Man's Sky didn't have vehicles besides the spaceship, and it didn't have base building at launch.
Mm-hmm.
So because those things were kind of bolted on afterwards, it doesn't have the progression that this has.
I see.
Because in this, you start swimming around, and then you get a tiny little submersible, and then you get a base, then you get the fucking submarine. Like, there's a clear progression of, like, how maneuverable and safe you are.
Yeah.
No Man's Sky, though, you start with the spaceship.
Yeah, there's no build up to like anything. It doesn't feel meaningful.
Yeah. So why do you care about getting a truck when you've got a spaceship? You know?
Exactly.
Because there was never any difficulty in moving around the planet because you've got a spaceship. I don't know. The vehicles in No Man's Sky always felt really silly.
Yeah, a lot of this stuff in that game seems really kind of half baked.
I kind of want to play this a little bit more than I want to play No Man's Sky, I think.
Also, this won't last nearly as long because this has
an ending.
It has an ending. Like,
well,
there's a
good.
clear goal I'm working towards. And I've heard people say like, "Hey, remember to save before you do the thing, or otherwise it'll be like you last saved 5 hours ago."
Oh,
like
no.
it just the game ends and it kicks you back, and all you can do is load your last save.
Ooh, wow, that's harsh.
Yeah.
Sounds rad, though.
It is interesting, though, the fact that it's a persistent, or not but like a similar map. Not similar. I'm tripping over my... There's the one map. So I could play on survival mode and know where to go for a few things and have a real easier start.
Yeah.
It plays a few tricks at the start that once you know they're there are real interesting.
Cute.
Yeah. So I will give that a thumbs up if you're
Cool.
kind of into that sort of game.
You don't think it's going to really change anybody's mind if they're not into it?
See, I think the survival stuff, I don't know, because I chose to not engage with that
play
part.
with that. Right.
Yeah. Because I just think, like, having the food and water timers just constantly bugging me, like, that doesn't seem fun.
Yeah.
Like, being 800 meters underwater, hoping I can get out safely, that's fun.
That's far more interesting, too.
So what I'm doing is, like, I'm always saving in safe spots, and if I die, I'm like, oh, back to that save, instead of, like, letting it respawn me with my inventory damaged. I just reload but the last save instead.
Right. Tinker Gemini mentioned Aquaria. It's more of kind of like a Metroid-y 2D.
Yeah, that one is... I've heard that's way more actual Metroidvania.
Yeah, it's like this is actual, like, more rooted in the survival idea and kind of charting uncharted territory, whereas Aquaria is just kind of like an underwater adventure kind of thing. I don't really feel that they're comparable. I like Aquaria though. I think it's a good game.
Yeah. So
this is really funny. Really funny talking about the survival stuff because I was just earlier today got someone mad linking the Pathologic 2 devs added like a difficulty slider that they were like wanting to be nice, and then they say like, but don't please. It's supposed to be really miserable, and then a bunch of people in the replies were like specifically complaining, hunger is so annoying. Hunger sucks. They shouldn't have included the hunger slider.
So, we're running a bit long.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and table the next thing that I want to talk about for next episode, because I figure that if I'm going to talk about it, I want to talk about it and give it a good chance to kind of,
give us a preview. What is it?
Yeah, I'll tell you next time. No
Okay.
previews. No previews!
That's not how previews work, Polly.
No, it's not. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and start winding things down. First and foremost, I want to thank everybody for coming out this evening at our unusual time of a normal a normal ass weekday. Promise you.
Still weekend if you believe, and you had the day off.
Yeah, if you had the day off, it's still part of the weekend. This
is just the first half of the holiday because we got the day off, but now we get a 4-day week.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's the best part.
Mine's 3. Mine's 3. I don't work Thursday either. So, boom.
That's just some ungodly cheating.
Yeah, it is. It is. But I want to thank everybody for coming out, listening, and of course, I don't know what else I was going to say. Thank you for the bits and the subs, of course. Always appreciated. They fund the Moon Pie Fund. And that's... Make sure that this drawer right here... Always got moon pies in it. Always got moon pies in it. Polly will never starve so long as we're able to do a Sockscast. John Thayer, where can our dear friends on the internet find you?
farawaytimes.itch.io.
And Rhett, where can we find you?
On my dumb website I haven't updated in like 2 years.
You've still not updated it?
No.
To the new, because Tumblr's dead. And now they're trying to sell it, and nobody's going to buy it. Nobody's going to buy that piece. You bought it, you killed it, and now you want to sell it?
No, Pornhub will buy it.
Pornhub will buy it, yeah.
Happy 10 years to Press Space to Win. I didn't make a sequel like I said I was going to.
Yeah, I was going to say, where the fuck does that... Where's the HD version?
I was busy playing Trails in the Sky.
That's an acceptable
It's the only acceptable excuse.
For anything.
For anything.
Right. And you can find me on my dumb website. Remember, we are the podcast that loves you. We are the only ones that love you. Y'all stick around. I'm going to kick you on over to... Who am I going to kick you on over to?
Elrock.
Elrock, he's not streaming.
I just picked a name at random.
Well, it was a good get. We got Virus Returns playing Crusader of Senti. That's a pretty good.
Oh, that game looks cute.
That game is very cute. He's putting in some work, getting ready to... He's going to put up some good times on that speed run, I'm sure. So we'll pass you over to Virus Returns. He's been a good pal to me, so we'll be a good pal to him. And thank you again, everybody, for coming out. Appreciate the bits and subs again, of course. And we will catch you next time, probably on a Sunday.
No, Monday from now on. Actually, we're starting Monday
God,
at 5.
no.
No, I can't.
I take off an hour early on Mondays from now on. So that we can do the Sockscast.
I would have to take Mondays off.
Oh, God, yeah.
All right. Love y'all. We'll catch you next time.
Ciao.